This is Channel Attitude. Your voice, your right, your freedom.
I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. After the collision, we sift through
the wreckage. Cut that shit. Cut that shit off. Cut it.
You know why I did that, right?
Yes, cut it. Don't play licensed music. God damn it. How many times do we have to say?
It's not licensed. It's count to four. Yeah, they don't know how to count to four. Clearly, after what I saw, I'm so sick of that damn song. I'm going to lose my shit. And anyway, we'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah, what are we even talking about? Who are we?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. But I am your host, Jimmy T. He is the best in the world and my co-host, Jamie the Vet Williams. And we are live on Hungry Media Group's YouTube channel and, of course, on channelattitude.com after the fact. Vet, what the fuck did I just watch?
I couldn't tell you. I'm sure that you're referring to Double or Nothing.
I held out as long as I could to watch it because I didn't want to watch it, but I just held out because if I watched it back then, I would have been a bit sketchy. So I did a whole, 6 hours of friggin' AEW. So I'm a bit even more, longer. I'm a bit cuckoo after watching all that.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get into it very soon. So we just got to quickly run through whatever news items we may have or any other. We don't have time for any BS today.
No bullshit. Just you're getting double instead of nothing, folks. Just quietly.
Yes. We're giving you the double.
We're giving you the double, just not the nothing. As far as news goes, well, did you hear about Vince McMahon starting a new company?
I mean, I see a post, but tell me if you feel the same way, Jimmy.
What's that?
When you see any post anywhere, do you just automatically assume this isn't real?
Yeah, lately it's been like that. And I think even with this, when it comes to this news tidbit, I truly think it's been over sort of analyzed, if that makes sense, even though there's no analyzing going on at all other than he's starting a new company. So I think everyone's jumping to conclusions and just starting rumors for no reason, in my opinion anyway.
Well, I'm not specifically talking about this one bit of news. It's
general.
more like anytime you see anything, you just have to question, is this just some account posting shit? Is this AI? Is this whatever? Everything we see now, we have to question it. We always should have. I mean, it goes back to the old believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. You know,
Absolutely.
that's an old cliche saying, but even now more than ever, everything that comes through, you have to be like, whatever. So when I scroll through and I see this, I'm not going to investigate it. I'm just like, whatever. If it's real, I'm going to hear more about it over time. If it's not, then I can just ignore this now, right? So I don't bite on those, the so-called worms of, social media things or whatever. So apparently this is a real thing.
Apparently it is, yeah.
All right. Well, and then the other thing onto that I would know is that they supposedly it's this who is the guy that he's bringing in to run it, like Brad Bloom, is that?
Yeah, that's
name?
exactly right. He's a former WWE executive also.
Right. So you're going to have a collection of scumbags, like anybody that's willing to work with Vince McMahon, you can automatically question their character, right?
100%. It's all the scumbags that have been left over from the old guard into the new. But interestingly enough, apparently he named the company. Let me just double check. Something 14, I think it was, or something like that.
14th and I.
Yeah, which apparently is like
Is that
some
the
sort
intersection
of
of his trailer park he grew up in?
No, apparently that's Titan Towers, the original Titan Towers.
How corny.
Yeah, weird. I don't know, man. He's getting senile. Whatever he's trying to do, apparently it's some sort of entertainment and sports entertainment type of entity and all sorts of shit. Whatever
he's got a perfect track
he's
record outside of pro wrestling for everything he did. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, you're cool. So apparently, yeah, I don't know what he's doing, what he's up to, but that's what he's doing. What this company is going to be, who the hell knows? And at this point, I don't really even care anymore about what he's doing because after you've shat on people's heads, I don't know if there's any way of coming back, to be honest.
I mean, that's the most normal thing he's done. I think that, I mean, what this company will be is closed, like, before it ever gets started. Yeah. Because he's not going to survive this trial, I don't think. Like, even if he's not going to go to jail, but he's certainly not going to be able to afford any sort of, like, operations of a company, I wouldn't think. Nor is anybody going to want to do business with this company, I would think. I would hope no one would want to touch it. I mean, think about what I just said. All of his success, right? Well, first of all, he tanked the WWE, so congratulations on that.
True.
Congratulations on Nick Khan and a fucking former WWE wrestler pulling the nose up on that. And then think of everything else he's ever done. WBF, ICO Pro, XFL twice, fucking WWE films, Tout. Like what was how many
remember that? Fuck
how many barely how many things like what do we attribute success to this person for outside of something that was already 2 generations old when he got a hold of it, you know, and then he signed up everybody else's talent to carry him through it, and once those guys all aged out, you know, that went into the dark period, right?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Like what do we have a track record of that would say that him starting a new business from scratch is going to do a goddamn motherfucking thing in this world?
It's a good question. I mean, you're right. Everything you said, and you know what? You just made me realize something, Vet. Has he really been that successful? Like you said, when you really break it down, everything's been a failure other than the WWE, right? And even that, you can easily say, well, it was already in pretty good hands with his dad before that. So he already had a ready-made sort of moneymaker in many ways. Don't get me wrong. He's an innovator. He innovated professional wrestling in terms of, you know, giving it to the world and, you know, putting it on national television and whatnot, right? Cool. But if it wasn't him, someone else was going to do it. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that hard to think that.
Exactly right.
To think like that, right? Exactly. So you just made me realize that really he's not that successful. He just got lucky in many ways.
A lot of people in this world, what it takes to be successful, like there's plenty of people that have intelligence. There's plenty of people that have creativity. There's plenty of people that have a decent mix of both. There's plenty of people that have a good, like a business savvy or street smarts or things. Like there's people that have like, there's lots of qualities that different people have. Right. And they all have varying levels of success, because one of the things that is more important than a lot of those things is just the ability to, through sheer force of will, like force people to do things that, you know, like somebody's got to be the person that gets things done by, you know, whatever it is, bullying, yelling, demanding, you know, like just doing whatever it takes, you know? Vince McMahon's a perfect example of that, where you're like, well, what did he really do? I've told this story before, but I have a friend that worked at the WWE, Mark Millara, that's been on the show multiple times and is due to come on again sometime, but it wasn't able to happen recently. But like I asked him, like everybody says he's always busy. And I was like, you were there busy doing what? Like what takes 23 hours a day to do? We know now, because I asked him that before all this stuff came out, right? but I'm just saying, like, what is busy to you? Like, you can't, like, there's things that aren't getting done. And why aren't they getting done? Because you're so busy and you're in charge of everybody and everything. Why aren't they getting done, right? So a lot of it is just, and most people will tell you, like, you put the right people that know how to do their jobs in position, and then you just order them around without really having any appreciable knowledge or skill other than what you want, right? And then you force it to happen. But the only reason that the WWF was able to take off the way it did was because of, it was like I said, it's an entity that'd been around already for 2 generations of promoters. He's a 3rd generation promoter, bro. So like, if he had to start from scratch, he wouldn't have been able to do it. So
you're right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and everything he did start from scratch failed. If you can't see me on the video, if you're listening on audio, I'm just giving the big thumbs down. No success whatsoever. So like that blustering and bullying only gets you so far. You have to have some sort of know-how at some point. And we just, there's just no reason to believe that it exists, and certainly not now. Even if I'm crazy. Vince McMahon's a genius, right? What am I talking about? What do I know? Who have I ever beat, right? Like, okay, fair enough. On the other hand, even if you believe that, this guy is not the guy from 40 years ago. This guy is not like a septuagenarian, senile. Like, he doesn't, at least he got rid of the mustache, but you know what I mean? Like, this is not that guy. He's not fit to do any of these things anymore like he did when he was young. So it's not going to work.
No, I think, you know what, but deep down, I do think he has some regrets selling the company now. He's probably thought about it and thought, shit, because really he did it for all the wrong reasons. But you know what, Vince? You did it. So it's on you, man. It is what it is. But you're spot on. This is why you're the best in the world, because it's those little things that you point out that no one pays attention to, and then you point them out, and then you realize, what has he really done? Sure, he created The Undertaker, he created numerous wrestlers and Goldust, and that's great and all that. But like you said, business-wise, he's failed a lot.
But I will just say that real quick to that.
Right.
Could those have been ribs that just turned out to be successes because of the people he put them on?
They were ribs. Well, I know Goldust was a rib as far as Undertaker goes.
Right, but like The Undertaker could have been really stupid if he gave that to somebody that sucked, right?
Absolutely, for sure.
Because it was kind of corny, right? But it was at the time of all the cartoon characters, right?
Right,
so
no, it was.
It ended up working because of the guy. And I do want to bring up, This Ain't Texas had a point too. NFL sandbagged the XFL. It would have worked, and Vince would have changed the sports dynamic. That is true to a degree, but the whole thing is, it was always going to shake out that way eventually, because Vince McMahon just can't help himself. Like, it was because of him that no one wanted to cooperate. Like, it's the same way like guys in the WWE would come in, and like the WCW guys would come in and get shit on or whatever, because it's like, you're the outsider, so we got to haze you, like that kind of thing. It's the NFL's like, stupid, fuck you. Who do you think you are, Vince McMahon? We'll show you. We'll run you out of town. So it's the same thing. If he had a different attitude or been a different person, maybe the XFL would have succeeded, because there were some good ideas, probably none of which that Vince McMahon had, probably just other people that he hired. But again, like I do agree that the XFL should have worked when it came out. It should have. It was cool to a point.
No, look, at first, of course, it shook it up at the very beginning, back in 2001. He shook it up, no doubt about it. But in the end, it was never going to, succeed over the NFL. It just wouldn't. Nothing would. It's the NFL, man. The only way that they could compete with the NFL would be matching the money and the salaries. If you could do that and then coax literally players from the NFL, and I'm talking about top-notch players now, not has-beens or fringe players, then yeah, absolutely, you could, it had a chance. But it was always destined to fail, let's be honest. I mean, he tried it again. It failed, yeah, because of the C. You can easily blame that, but I don't know, man.
I mean, I watched it before it shut down. It still sucked. It sucked way worse than those games were. Those games were absolutely the drizzling.
Really?
Nobody. Yes.
What
the
about
the first version of the XFL was kind of exciting, but the players weren't that good. But the ideas were good. It was of its time.
What about the UFL now, Vet? Like, is it total trash?
Probably.
Yeah, I haven't watched it, but I'm just wondering. But yeah, look, good luck to you, Vince. Like I said, man, but we can talk about this for hours.
No luck to you.
Right? Yeah.
No luck to you. I hope you live a long time, but it's all in suffering and pain.
Oh boy,
dying is too good for you.
Man, that guy's a machine, man. I'll give him that. We might be senile, but the guy, I feel like the guy's going to live forever. But anyway, let's move on from Vinnie Mac,
please,
and get into other news because, like we were saying before, Vet, we got a pretty loaded show. Apparently, Hiroshi Tanahashi is set to compete at AEW Forbidden Door. I mean, no surprise. It's not really news, but that's what's being reported. And I'm not even going to ask you for your opinion about that because really there's nothing really to say about it. But Did you see what happened with Alberto Del Rio, but should I say El Patron, and the Mexican talk show incident that happened a couple of days ago?
Yeah, I saw a clip of him going at somebody on a talk show. I just assume this is all part of the work trying to get heat. Good job.
You think so? It was a work? I'm not sure, man, because that kick he did.
Of course it's a work.
All right, but
of course it is.
Leading to? But what's that leading to if it is? Just say, because
dude, in Mexico, people still believe in this shit somewhat. Half-ass.
They did it good. I will say that. They acted very well. I'm talking about everybody. Like, they really did it very well. To the point, probably better than anyone in the US right now could actually pull off. So that impressed me. But what doesn't impress me, well, not that I care because I couldn't give a shit. He's a piece of shit anyway. Wasn't he meant to be signed with WWE supposedly again?
I mean, they reported that he signed along with some other people.
Well, apparently he's not, and that's why they stripped the bout. Obviously, they gave it away last week because of the When Worlds Collide advertisement about Gable versus El Hijo del Vikingo. And so he lost the championship to last night, I think it was actually. And JBL did one of the, oh man, did you see his promo, dude? By any chance, did you hear it?
JBL's promo?
Yeah, like during that matchup.
No.
Dude, he went racist. I mean, racist.
Okay.
In Mexico, the heat he was getting, I'm thinking this guy's going to get killed over there, the way he was going. But he doesn't give a fuck. It was a good promo, though. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
But just
JBL knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I know. I guess. But still, it's Mexico, man. You got to always be careful because it was old school JBL, so that was pretty interesting. But yeah, it seemed pretty funny, and it seemed.
Can I just say this? Can we wrap all this in like one big package and let me put a bow on it with this?
Let's do it.
I find it amusing that when stuff that pro wrestling used to be gets on the internet, everybody's just shocked, like, oh, I can't believe Alberto went at somebody on a talk show. I can't believe JBL cut a racist promo. I can't believe this. I can't believe, like, this is pro wrestling. And you're like, I can't believe pro wrestling is pro wrestling. No, you're just too soft now because you're used to this whack,
true.
PC culture, like all this stuff. Like you're used to everybody being afraid of like losing sponsorships and stuff like that. And this is just basic stuff. Like it's basic.
No, it's
not even like
really.
Yeah, and you know, so you don't bat an eye when, you know, somebody like I don't know, for example, takes a power bomb on the ring apron on the back of their fucking head from some untalented Australian guy that wishes he was Randy Orton.
I was waiting for that.
That's just part and parcel of the gig, but don't let anybody cut a racist promo. Don't let anybody do that, right? It's just funny. I just think it's funny how people react to it, you know?
No, but it's true. You're right. And I know it's a wrestling promo. I know that subconsciously, obviously.
And I wasn't talking about you for the record, because I know that there will people get on social media and be like, there's no place for this in wrestling, right?
No. I know that. But what I'm trying to clarify is, but you're right, though, in what you said, though, rings true, because right now, we're not used to seeing those type of promos anymore. Heck, I was watching a few older shows, and I'll just quickly say it, with Bret Hart, like back from 97, right? Mm-hmm. You know, during the whole Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels shit. And the amount of homophobic slurs Bret was like slinging at Triple H and Shawn Michaels was ridiculous by today's standards. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it popped me because, I mean, think of Jerry the King Lawler. Do you remember the flaming F incident, for example?
Yeah, because people just said that then, and I mean, it was kind of provocative back then, but everybody was just way more comfortable doing it. You know, we kind of grew up like that. But here's the thing, though. This is a more important point than all this, right? Because anybody's going to make the point that I made. You know, like if you listen to any old wrestler, they're going to say, yeah, this is how wrestling used to be, and, you know, nobody should be surprised. Like, duh. I'm not breaking any ground with that. Here's the things that people won't really talk about, though. You're not going to hear people talk about this. That's why you come here to the Best in the World on the Wreckage every Sunday.
Best in the world.
The reason you can't do that in America now is because the same thing we complain about all the time. You keep slapping us in the face with the fact that this is fake. So if you tell us wrestling is fake all the time, and this is just a show, and hey, look at you know, WWE Unreal coming this summer on Netflix, and hey, look at this press conference where Triple H explains the booking, all this shit, Tony Khan and his press scrums, it's wrestling's not real, it's just a show, it's fake. Okay, so it's fake. We got it. Thanks. Now you go out there and cut a racist promo on American television. Well, wrestling's fake, so now you're just being offensive for no reason. Because I don't believe that you're a racist. I think you're just saying racist things because it's a fake show. So I don't believe these matches, I don't believe these characters, and I don't believe this racism. So now I'm just offended because you said racist things for no reason. The whole thing about the racism, the reason that JBL cuts those promos in Mexico and not in America is because in Mexico, they don't tell you it's fake every 5 seconds. They try to protect the business down there. Same thing in Japan. They protect the business. They basically protect the business everywhere except here. So you do those things to get heat in those places where the people, even if they don't believe, they pretend to believe because it's part of it. It's part of the gig. You know? If you do that shit here, it's just like, oh, it's just in poor taste. It's just bad taste to do it here. You know? No, you can't do anything. You can't do any of these offensive storylines or things like that because nobody believes it. It only works if you believe it. If you don't believe it, it's just offensive for no reason. It's just gratuitous. It means nothing. So that's why you don't do it here. You do it there.
Facts, man. You're on fire again, dude. Straight off the bat, the Vince just gone bang, 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 and bang because you are the best in the world. Is that why? Oh, that is awesome. But, well, the professor in the chat says, R-Truth tweeted that we released him this morning.
Is that a gimmick tweet?
Well, why? Because he's Ron Cena now? Is that why? Is that the gig? Nah, Truth, man, he's a character anyway. But, yeah, no, you're right, man. 100% right. But in one other piece of news, and no one really gives a shit, but might as well announce it. But everyone's favorite wrestler, not really, Abaddon, has not being released technically. They're allowing her contract to expire and they're not going to re-sign her. So
didn't they already
what's funny
announce
about that,
like months ago?
I thought so, but apparently this just happened a day
Wasn't she
ago.
on a list?
I thought she was too. That's what's weird, but she came out and announced it yesterday, and to top it off, she doesn't understand why she's being released. But what part of you don't understand why you're being released? Like RBV said yesterday on the Smack Attack, you're never on television. How do you not think you're not going to get released?
They wanted
why
you
are you
to get the
surprised?
hint.
Yeah, exactly. That's unbelievable. But so yeah, apparently she's shocked. But RBV said one of the best things actually that she should have done, instead of bitching and moaning about why she got released, why didn't she like be in character and try to say, look, this chapter's ended, time for a new chapter, play some sort of like what is she? Who is she, man? She's some sort of half dead woman. What is she?
Living Dead Girl, I believe,
Living
is her
Dead Girl.
moniker.
Cool.
So zombie.
A zombie, right? An ugly one.
So she's legally dead, which means we could do pretty much whatever we want, right?
Really? Wow. I mean, well,
To
not anything.
paraphrase that guy from RoboCop.
But the thing is, though, I'm not going to go there. I'm not even going to go there. Forget it. But she's gone. I never was a fan of hers, to be fair with you, Vet. I don't know how you feel. I'm sure you weren't really the biggest fan of hers either, but she just never did it for me, dude.
She came in at a time when AEW was kind of building their scrappy roster with what was available. And then once bigger names became available, we didn't need these anymore. So she had a somewhat of a unique look, at least for AEW. There was other people doing those kind of things, but maybe not in that company. So she could have been the one. And for whatever reason, who knows, could have been backstage, could have been in the ring, certainly, because not the greatest, not the worst, not the greatest. Yeah, it's if there was no vision for that gimmick, then you're at the mercy of the promoter always. Anyways, don't want to take too much time on this.
No, but Jay, damn, dude. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, one last thing. Brian May has been removed from the AEW roster page, and now he's believed to officially be heading to WWE. I can't believe this whole circumstance, to be honest, the whole situation. I don't understand why suddenly. I know her goal was to get into WWE, but AEW did, to be fair, like the prof says, they did push her pretty strong in AEW. She's a former women's champion also, but it's like after her run was done, like literally that program with Tony Storm, she was like, see yous, I'm out. I want out now. Goodbye. That was that. I find that kind of weird, but I guess we'll see her in WWE. Everyone's obviously hyping her up with Tiffany Stratton just because they're both blondes. But cool, I guess. I mean, maybe you can pair them together. Who knows? But do you think she'll start off in NXT, or do you think they put her right onto the main roster? What would you do if you were like, Triple H?
Because
it's a hard one.
I would put her on, and I don't know. I get because either one could work. It depends on what they want to do. So
right,
and as far as she's concerned, it's just there's probably just a lot of sides of the story that we don't know that made her want to leave. So I'll just give her the benefit of the doubt there. A lot of people want to leave. She just gets to.
Exactly. She's lucky too. Liz says, if I was Triple H, I wouldn't sign her. She isn't needed. I agree in many ways.
I mean, if put it like this. If you want to make a splash, NXT is basically a women's wrestling promotion. So, since only like girls watch the CW, then put her on there. Hope that she, gets some fans there, and let her be a draw for that show. Yeah, a quote unquote draw. Let's see. Let's see how much it matters that we take a former AEW champion and put you on NXT. Like, if it works out for us, great. If not, oh well, you're at least getting the NXT kind of orientation, and then, you can get used to how they do things there before you eventually go to Raw or SmackDown. So it's, that it's kind of a win-win to put her in NXT that way.
I agree. I think wherever you put her, she'll be fine anyway, either way. I also agree with you, J12, that we didn't need Rusev. And personally, I didn't think they were even going to go for him, but they did.
Yeah. I agree with that too.
Yeah. I mean, we were speaking about that, not too long ago before he got signed that,
it's so funny, right? Like, if you think about it, especially the way people talk about Rusev.
Dude, it was like
they talked about him. Yeah. They talk about him like in AEW, like, you're wasting this guy. I need Miro. Where's Chris Winland always talking about? He's not going to watch until, no, was it Chris Winland or was it,
Oh, it was Chris Winland.
Yeah. Is he the one saying you got to have Miro on TV or I'm not going to watch or something like that? And it's like all this stuff, right? And then he gets there and he's immediately back in the dark doing the Conan the Barbarian promos again. Like, it's nothing different.
This is exactly the same, bro. Exactly the same. Nothing has changed, dude, at all.
Yeah, like, exactly. Not even the TV time. He's having just as many matches as he did.
It's and I said this on a Raw. Nothing has freaking changed, man. It's exactly the same thing, and I still don't care. That's what's even more fucked up. I really don't care. Like, if he's there, cool. If he's not, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? He does nothing for me. I think that was not a panic buy per se. But I feel like WWE is wasting a lot of resources by signing just about everyone suddenly. And I don't even know why they've decided to do that.
I don't know. And Labrat says, well, how about Black? Well, at least Black stepped out into a hallway with other people once. Like, what was he chit-chatting with the Miz or whatever? Like, whatever he was doing. At least he left the dark room.
And you know what, but to Labrat's point, he's easily forgettable too at this point, dude.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, any real news out there, or are we basically?
Nah, that's about it, man. There was just a whole bunch of nothing really. So I think it's time we put on some gloves because I need all sorts of safety measures after what I saw.
Okay.
And
PPE, personal protective equipment.
Exactly. It's compulsory on this show, especially after last week. And what pisses me off, Vet, though, we've got 4 hours of Dynamite next week, really, or this week.
Oh, yeah.
That sucks. Why? Scotty Woodford, my man.
Thank you, sir. You got a question. I'm sad that you have this question because I can't answer it for you. He says, did you see the Myron Reed terrible bump last night? Stupid move. No. I don't even know where Myron Reed works anymore. Is he still in MLW?
I saw it, Scotty. I saw what you posted, but I didn't see the actual spot though. Apparently they both hurt, right? Correct? Both guys fucked each other up, whatever happened.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's no big deal. Some indie friggin' promotion anyway, but still, like, I don't know, man. I know it's Fighter Fest, Zane, you goose.
Anyways. All right, look. We got a lot of sifting to do, right?
Let's sift.
And this is how we're going to do it, Jimmy. Now, I'm going to be, in the interest of being fully transparent.
Right.
I watched a lot of Double or Nothing.
Don't do this to me. No.
But maybe I didn't see literally everything that happened on it. So this is how we're going to do this. I'm going to go through this thing. And if there's nothing to say, we're not going to spend a second on it. Right. I'll just read the results of the match. And
done.
If you've got something that you want to add about it. But like, for example, I necessarily tuned out a huge chunk of Anarchy in the Arena.
Oh boy, did I.
So if you got some things to say about that, that'll be great. Because to me, I feel like I talk about a match like that at least once a week. Like not on that scale, But like, I always feel like people are doing some dumb spot or doing some garbage wrestling or some shit like I have to talk about. So I'm not going to cut a promo on it because it's like, I've already cut those promos. I can't say anything new about it. I'm not going to repeat myself like that. So this is basically how we're just going to run through. We'll see how it goes. Cause you know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm glad you said that because no shit, dude. Before we just get into it, that Anarchy in the Arena match, I truly think was the worst piece of garbage Anarchy in the Arena match of all time.
Wow.
In every sense. It was corny, it was everything. But anyway, we'll get to that. But
okay, we'll get to it. All right. Just for the sake of completionism, on the buy-in, we had 2 matches. The first match was Megalope versus Harley J. And what I noticed about this was it felt like, again, this was one of those matches it's got like it's kind of on, so I'm like getting the sense of it more than I'm watching it. But as I'm like feeling out the match and listening to it and kind of seeing it off to the side, it's like it feels like Megan is doing babyface power moves in this whole match and the crowd is popping for it. So I'm like, who's the heels here is basically my question.
Well, I didn't watch none of the pre-show, just so you know.
Okay,
so
well,
I've got nothing to say about that.
Okay, yeah, anybody, and of course the chat is always invited. Please play along. Please put your thoughts. Please ask your questions. You know, that's why you're here. We could pre-record this show if we didn't need that. So
Yeah,
go
well,
ahead
that's
and chime in wherever, as usual. But that's that was the sense I got. And of course, because Harley Cameron's unstoppable, she gets to pin Penelope, you know, she rolls her up. The power roll.
Another classic roll up.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
She didn't even use
that
that's her finishing move. She just did the roll up.
Oh yeah, that's her. Isn't that what the movie's called?
The roll up? No.
No. Her finisher. What's it called?
Yeah, whatever her finisher is, that's her finishing move is what it's called.
Yeah.
But she didn't. I don't think she did it. I think she just used the roll up.
All right. Anyway, good for her.
Yeah. Then we see Alex Marvez, and I was like, Marvez, what are you doing here? I guess he interviewed the Sons of Texas real quick, and they just cut a promo at whatever. Nobody's interested. And then they had another random match, RPG and Crew. So like 2 tag teams versus AR Fox, Hologram, Bandito, and Commander. And I didn't even write down the winner. I forgot.
You already know who's won this.
Who won?
Come on. I don't know who won, but I bet you it's got to be Hologram's team.
Yeah, you're right. Like nobody would beat Hologram, right?
No, nobody. That's why it's obvious. So even though we don't know what happened, Hologram won either way, even if you didn't get the pin.
Yeah. Frank says, "Hey Vet, superstar Billy Graham lost his belt in MSG on an atomic drop." Yeah, I mean, if you do the atomic drop correctly, you know, you take that knee, you put it in the bottom of the tailbone, you could send somebody's spine shooting up through their skull. You know, it causes a shock wave. It can cause temporary or even permanent paralysis. So,
dude,
it's no joke. That's why people. That's why you don't see the move anymore. It's just because it's banned.
True,
because it's deadly.
That's a good point. You know what, dude?
Point, Jimmy. I'm fucking joking, Jimmy. I'm ribbing.
No, I don't remember an atomic drop lately, though. Really?
Yeah, they don't do it.
Like, who's done it?
Nobody does it.
Like, I didn't think of that until you said it.
The art of the atomic drop is lost. We'd rather just throw people on the apron willy-nilly.
Yeah. I mean, more dangerous the better. Fuck soft moves, right? Who does atomic drops, please?
Yeah, well, obviously it's atomic. You know?
I mean,
that's how Godzilla was born, stuff like that.
Oh, fucking
all right.
You're on fire.
So that's the end of the pre-show. Okay, we're starting out Double or Nothing with the women Owen finals tournament. It's Mercedes versus Jamie Hayter. I'm sure the ladies worked hard for 20-some minutes. Haterade was countered by she ducked and did some weird hammerlock thing, and then did like a small package, but like spiked her head on the small package. So I don't know if that was meant to be a DDT or if Jamie Hayter got messed up on that. But anyway, a small package, a hammerlock small package is what I'll call it.
I will say this about the match. First of all, I couldn't keep my eyes off of Money's stomach because of what you said last week.
It looked like it was slightly reduced from
But she's a
slightly
bit
reduced
puffy.
from the collision.
She's a little puffy though, and she's covering up a lot more suddenly since you brought this up. So I find that kind of interesting. She does look a little puffy, but I like it though. I don't mind her looking like that. So I don't know what's going on there, but
Good
yeah,
size.
it's a good size for sure. But also, what surprised me, these two were chain wrestling a lot. They fucked it up a couple of times though. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't totally smooth, but it still impressed me for two women. So that was good. Zane saying she's fat.
Fat.
But
Scott
yeah,
Steiner.
the match. Right, exactly. But other than that, the match was fine, but it dropped off somewhat though towards the end, in my opinion, and then I started getting a little bored.
Yeah, I think there's a limit to what people are willing to. You gotta understand too. Like, I know nobody cares, and by nobody cares, I mean like the workers, kind of like they all have their match and they're just gonna do their match. But you have to think about the other spots on the card. I think the only
Right.
person that really puts any sort of effort into thinking about anybody else is probably Okada. I don't know that anybody else does, and we'll get to that too because I promised I would definitely give you the eagle-eyed, focused, sharp vet vision on that one. I
We've got
promised
vet
you guys
vision?
that ahead of time. Yeah.
That's a good segment name. Vert Vision.
I just
With a
made it
reverb.
up. I didn't even try. I guess I'm just the best in the world. Speaking of the best in the world, the commentary team at this point acknowledged JR, saying he's, got to have his surgery and he's got to recover. At this point, I believe that you're not breaking news, Todd Brantley. You're just late. So if at this point we know that JR has had successful surgery and he's recovering, he hopes to be back soon. So
Right, that was
we
great.
can kind of, I guess that means we can stop worrying about JR for a little while. Like he should be good for a bit.
Absolutely, and just quietly, Ric Flair, go fuck yourself, straight up. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Wait, who? Ric Flair?
Ric Flair, didn't you see what he said?
No.
He's a fucking idiot, dude. Like straight up. I just want to read this out quickly too.
Did it have
right?
something
And-
did it have something to do with his new line of liquor?
No, it had to do with JR and I kid you not, and how he took all the attention. This is how stupid this guy is. And don't get me wrong, he recounts this shit. He goes back on it like a fucking idiot because of course he did because of the heat. But this is what he had to say. Let me just get to it. Ah, fuck it. I can't even find it. I'm not going to sit there funny. Anyway, the point is, he basically said, God, JR, you want all he wants is the attention on himself, basically. Like, basically giving him shit for announcing that he had cancer. Why did he have to announce it, basically, when he could have kept it on the low? Right? And everyone shat on him.
Because he
I
needed
know.
to tell people where he was and why he wasn't there, I guess.
Yeah, but get this. So everyone shits on him after that, right? Obviously. And then he comes back saying, can't you guys take a joke? Like, it was a joke. A 72-year-old man was, telling a joke, however age he is. That's basically what he said. I was joking.
Ha
No,
ha
you
ha.
weren't.
It was hilarious now that I know that.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Now that I
joking,
know it
dude.
was a joke, it's the funniest
Ha ha.
joke I ever heard. Ha ha ha. Great job.
Yes. Dude, it's the
Jesus.
funniest ever. But he's
Wrong
full of
with
shit. Yeah. So
All right.
go fuck yourself, Flair. You
All right.
bitch.
Well, anyway. All right. Well, speaking of go fuck yourself, speaking of GFY, we have FTR versus DG and Mick G. A lot of this match was Daniel Garcia standing on the apron while FTR beat the shit out of Nigel off to the side, and he could have ran over there and helped at any time, but it's a tag team match, so you got to observe the rules, I guess. I mean, FTR doesn't have to observe the rules, but he does.
But you know what's weird? Did you see the finish kind of as Garcia, copped a beating, and then Nigel not trying to like break the pin, even though he didn't, right? But it's like he was trying to get there, but he was so slow that it looked ridiculous, if that makes any sense.
Well,
Like, really-
so here's what happened. The finish was, I believe it was Axon had the sharpshooter on Daniel Garcia.
Right.
Now, keep in mind, he's already kicked out of a pile driver and a
Right.
spike pile driver at this point. So they put him in the sharpshooter, and he passes out in it. This is his not quite a WrestleMania 13 moment, but you know,
nothing like that.
Yeah.
He was just sleepy. That's it.
So that happened. Now, why was Nigel McGuinness not there? Why was Nigel McGuinness slowly selling? I'll tell you why. Because before this, it felt like 10 minutes before this. That's what it felt like. It was probably just a couple minutes, but
I don't know.
The FTR gave Nigel McGuinness a shatter machine on the outside. Now, before I tell you, can anybody point out why that is the stupidest shit that you've ever seen? The shatter machine on the floor.
Well, first of all, I mean, I'm not going to get this right because really, I think you're going to think completely differently. But one, I guess it's dangerous. Two, it's not going to be the finish on him, obviously, because it was the sharpshooter that was the finish. But so why was it bad? Please enlighten me on
you
this one.
You were right about the part one,
okay.
But why was it dangerous and for who?
Well,
because think about what the shatter machine is. Think about the move.
It's literally the knees to the friggin' face or whatever you want to call it.
Right. So who's taking the bump?
Obviously McGuinness.
Or
Cash
Cashin.
Cash
Cashin
right.
is taking a flat back on the concrete.
On the concrete, right, exactly.
Whereas Nigel McGuinness is taking the same bump he would take in the ring, out of the ring, in outer space, anywhere else. He takes the same bump. But Cash is the one, like an idiot, bumping on the floor.
I mean, if he wants to do that, let him.
But it doesn't. But even in kayfabe, that doesn't make sense.
I know, but
because the whole idea of doing a move on the floor is it's more dangerous for the person taking a bump. So if the only person taking a bump is Cash Wheeler, then why do it to Nigel McGuinness? You just look like an idiot. You're just flat backed on the concrete like a fucking moron. Best tag team in the world, right?
Yes. Best.
No, wrong. Backyard wrestler that took it too far and his bald friend.
That's to you, FTR. Right there. I'll get back to that. I will praise him a bit later on, though. A little bit. Not on this show, though. It's not going to be about... I'm talking about later on when we get into Collision, particularly.
So, anyways... You're not, I listened to Cornette's review. Of course, he didn't mention that.
No one mentions that, Vet. That's the thing. Let's be honest. No one does.
Look, I get it. Yes, I get it. I'm the best in the world. I get it. But I had to point it out. That's just what I had to do. Well, for one, it proves that I did watch something, actually.
That's true. That's true. And unfortunately for
Sorry,
Prof,
Professor. It's it's one of those like I don't know what it is, brainwashing or like
brainwashing.
I can't say it's like a Stockholm syndrome because I don't think they ever kidnapped the professor, but just yeah. No, it's just one of those things. Like until The Rock started telling everybody that he's the people's champ and everybody loved him as a heel, nobody liked him. I guess people hear something enough, they just believed it after a while. FTR is the best tag team in the world. Like, yeah, I guess if there are no other tag teams and, whatever. But it sucks.
Yeah, no, like I said, I don't want to totally shit on them, but we'll get to that point. But like Prof says, brain farts happen in AEW.
That ain't a brain fart. They planned that shit out. They memorized that whole match. They had an agent producing them that didn't say anything. They came up with that spot, or whoever came up with that spot didn't think. And then as soon as Cash did it, I'm sure the look on his face, if you go back and watch the pay-per-view, go back and look at Cashin's face the moment he takes that bump. He's like, oh shit, this was a bad idea. We didn't think this through.
Really?
We definitely planned it, but we didn't think it through. So, yeah. But
Didn't they rehearse
to your point, to your original point, that's why Nigel McGuinness was out there selling that bump that Cash took. He didn't take a bump.
Yeah.
He's out there selling Cash's bump for like several minutes while they double team Daniel Garcia repeatedly and let him kick out of all their shit. And then he's selling it, and that's why he's not coming in to save, because he's trying to put over their stupid move, because he's supposed to be selling it. So Nigel McGuinness was the only person that did the right thing here. Daniel Garcia should have said, I don't think I should kick out of all your moves. FTR should have said, I don't think we should let you kick out of all our moves. Also, we shouldn't take a bump on the concrete like morons. All Nigel McGuinness did was sell like he was supposed to.
Right. But what I hated about it, he was right there, though. Like, you see him coming, because the camera wasn't really fixated on him, right? You just see him come into shot sort of thing. And he's right there and then Daniel Garcia is right in front of him. But it was like, you know what I mean? Like, it just looked stupid to me. Maybe it was the camera angles, and that's what also threw me off. But he should have stayed back off camera, if anything, and totally sold it, in my opinion.
Sometimes you picture things going differently in your mind.
True. That's very true. 100%.
Like if like let's say he was trying to time it so that he's just there a little too late, and let's say the referee doesn't call for the bell for like way too long. Then he looks stupid, right? Like he'd be stuck.
Absolutely.
He can't go back. What is he
late.
supposed to do? Just fall out of the ring again? Like he's gotta stay there. But if the ref is blowing the timing on it, see, that's why this whole thing, wrestling is hard. It is hard to do,
imagine.
But they make it even harder by trying to overcomplicate it, overbook things, and then it gives you more opportunities to mess things up the more different ingredients you throw in the pot. It's not going to taste good just because you throw more stuff in. So,
Right.
Again, keeping in mind that you're going to have a match later where people are spending 40 minutes hitting each other with garbage, keep your match down to a minimum and basic, because no one's here to see you. No one bought a ticket to see this match, I'm sure. So just do something simple and basic, and it'll be fine, is my advice.
Revamp, check out the Smack Attack if you want to hear about what we had to say, in particular myself and RBV, about Triple H and MVP.
What's your name,
I wasn't
fella?
going to bore Vet with that shit.
Whatever. MVP has an opinion. Triple H has an opinion. You know, they got to settle their own stuff. He said it had nothing to do with race. Okay.
I don't believe that, and I called him out on that.
I'm interested in hearing what that is then.
Right.
But he'll say it one day.
total
He said he would say it, so we'll wait till he says it.
We'll see.
Okay, now, speaking of garbage, stretcher match.
Oh,
We
my
now have a
God.
stretcher match. Or is it an ambulance match?
Ambulance match. That's what I was going to ask you, bro. Is it a stretcher match or a fucking ambulance match? It's an ambulance match. That's what this is.
I think it's whatever you want to call it at the moment, I suppose. Like I can't say too much, but here's what I will say. Okay.
Oh, God.
We need some a la carte, right? So obviously,
We got it.
yeah, you know Mark Briscoe's on the menu every time, right? No matter what. Ricochet
Absolutely.
has been added to the menu as of late because he's been killing it. He's finally on a roll. I've always loved him, but he hasn't always done things I loved. He's been off and on, and some of that's not his fault because of the booking or whatever. He left WWE because of the booking. So
Right.
it's like
True.
he bet on himself. And now he's showing that he's, he can pull these things off, right? So I like these guys. I like the fact they're having a match. I wish it didn't have to be this, but if I'm taking everything into account, including the fact that you have, again, a match like this on a show that has Anarchy in the arena later, like you're not blowing it too much. Like you couldn't save this for later, like when there is no Anarchy in the arena match, a different pay-per-view. You couldn't build it up even further. Maybe just have a normal singles match this time that ends in something that would then necessitate a stipulation of a ambulance and or stretcher match later to be on a show that's not featuring Anarchy in the arena. Again, just beating a dead horse. But
they
all
do this
that being
the time.
said, all that being said, to you, Jimmy, to the chat, to everybody, I'm just going to pose the question. And you guys knowing me how I am and what I like, am I crazy that I was still entertained by this?
No, actually you weren't, because
Am I wrong that these guys just do this better than other people do?
That's a good question. I mean, this looked violent legitly, dude. It really did. Like, as in, think about the spot. Like, you know, when Ricochet was grabbing Mark Briscoe's head at the stretcher and just banging his head right into the stretcher, man, and blood's just splattering everywhere. Like, all over Ricochet, all over probably the arena and whatnot. That looked freaking as real as it gets, right? Even though, you know, you could see what they really do, but it looked real, right? To the untrained eye. So, yeah, to answer your question, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but possibly they probably do it better than every other mofo in this company, dude, especially after what we watched later on. Yeah, I'm going to say they do it fucking better, even with the scissors, too. The scissor spots were very well done. You know what I mean? By both
even
guys.
though they're ridiculous. Like,
right, it's ridiculous.
We know that the idea of the scissors is ridiculous.
Put that shit aside. It's not. I'm looking at it from just the whole. You got to put that shit aside. Otherwise, we're just going to shit on everything. If you know what I mean.
Yes.
So put that shit aside. It was entertaining enough. You know what I mean? Without having to worry about that in particular shit. The thing that bothered me, to be honest, is why is this a blood feud? Really?
It shouldn't have been.
That's what I'm saying. And that's the only thing that bothered me. But put all that shit aside, it did entertain me. And it was actually much better than Anarchy in the Arena. Put it that way.
Yes. Now, is there stupid stuff in it? Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, I laughed when he shined his head with the
that was great,
with the Windex.
Dude. With the wind, that was awesome.
Even laughed when he hit him with the bucket because just the way he hit him with the bucket was funny. It wasn't like meant to be funny, but it was. If it's hard to explain, but it's like,
I know what you're saying.
Just the whole visual of the way he shoots him off holding the bucket and then just hits him with the bucket. Like, sure enough, yes, he just hit him with a bucket. No surprise. Dude. It was funny the way it happened. He didn't do it in a funny way, but it was funny. And I can't, I mean, what can I say? I would never have, I would have had to give those guys a talking to later, but I would have just said, but for the record, I loved it.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Spot on. Perfectly put. But that bucket spot was hilarious.
But I want to say this too. Zane Vicious clearly either he's just trolling or he disagrees. So, okay, so you didn't like it then. Is that what you're saying? Or are you just saying that I shouldn't like it? I mean, whatever. But that's what I'm asking. Like, what do you guys, I'm asking what you guys think, so I just think they do it better. They're better at their job than everybody. It doesn't necessarily have to do with just the fact that it's Mark Briscoe, but.
And plus, that's why I wouldn't put it past Mark Briscoe. You know how you said it wasn't meant to be funny? But then again, it's Mark Briscoe. Sometimes, he would do shit like that for shits and giggles, obviously. But what was I going to say? There was something.
Look at what Labrat said. Why is Ricochet hated because he's bald? Everyone is bald. That's the genius. Remember, everybody says this guy can't cut a promo, has no personality, blah, 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 all this stuff, right? And he's worked people into chanting about him being bald, even though everybody is bald. Like, that's a worker, bro. That's what working is. Like, I can't believe these people are doing it, Because you're absolutely right. That's why it's so funny, because it's like that's what a worker does. That's what a heel does. It's brilliant.
As a matter of fact, he worked even the boys to the point where they had to go to social media friggin' school, basically. And I'm talking about Javon Evans,
right,
in WWE. So that's how good he's been this year. And believe me, it took me a while to warm up to him compared to Vet. But eventually, I saw it, and he earned my respect, man. He's been killing it lately, straight up.
And Frank says, what else can Briscoe do at this stage of his career? He could do anything they ask him to. That's the whole thing. But if they only ask him to do this, then that's kind of a waste. But that's the thing. Mark Briscoe's getting wasted in the booking, but as far as like activity, he's like on damn near every show. He wrestles almost more than anybody else.
Yeah,
like who wrestles more than Mark Briscoe these days?
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
In a day where people get like one match a month, like he wrestles, it seems like every single show, like twice a week or whatever. And because he's being used as a utility player, But of course he could do anything. He could do opening match. He could do main event. He could do mid card. He could do hardcore match. He could do technical wrestling match. He could do, sloppy brawling match. Like whatever type of high flying match. He still flies out the ring and does flying elbows, and so, like he'll do whatever you want. He'll sell you products. Like you could use him as a pitch man. It doesn't matter. He could do anything at this stage of his career. He could do anything. So I say use him better, but yeah, he has no limits on what you can do with him, and that's rare in wrestling.
It is very rare, and he's that guy that if you need, and like you smash the emergency glass, you need that guy for a main event spot or any spot on the card for that matter. He's one of those guys, man, and that's what makes him great and revamped. That is the dumbest shit I just read, bro. Oh, I mean, come on. You're forgetting that, Ricochet also wrestled like in bigger crowds, like per se.
Ricochet worked Brock Lesnar.
Right, exactly.
How many people got to do that? So, anyways, regardless, this match was it was what it was.
It was fun.
Briscoe ended up losing, of course, because he has to.
But that's all right. I'm cool with that. Even though he loses a lot, but that's
he
cool.
loses too much.
He does.
Yeah. So, anyways, next is the Sons of Texas versus the Hurt Syndicate. That is what they're called, right?
We Hurt People now. Is that
every time?
I think they're the Hurt. They're just called We Hurt People now.
Oh,
did you see their shirts? We Hurt People. The song. I mean, that's all I hear and see now. Yeah. And is it just me, Vet? But did this match suck, bro? Oh, there was some good things, actually.
This was one of those matches I had struggled to pay attention to, but it did have MVP on commentary, and it had MJF on the outside. So this was like the debut of MJF as officially part of it.
Oh, my God. Relax, revamped. I didn't call you dumb, by the way. I said what I read was dumb, not you. Just quietly. Don't take it the wrong way. Jesus. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
I just had to. Because
Yeah.
I just saw the comment. You're taking it the wrong way, bro. Anyway.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Weird. I didn't actually call him dumb, though. That's the thing. I said what I read was dumb. But anyway. We'll say that again, bro, because that threw me off. That last bit. I know we're talking about MJF.
I said this is MJF's debut as physically part of the Hurt Business. Now he's officially signed his contract, and
but it still doesn't. It doesn't fit, man. It just, I don't know. I'm not gonna like this. I feel like the way this is gonna end in the end, like it's gonna be a failure. Bad. I can just see it, bro. But do you think it's possible that we're going to get the Pinnacle again somewhere and somehow in all of this? No? Or you just don't want to think about that happening?
No, I don't think it's going to. Why would they?
Who knows?
Well, you know what? It's on second thought, because it's a bad idea. Yes, maybe. Let's not rule it out. All right. Well, anyways, the only important thing is that Sammy Guevara got his head kicked off at the end by Shelton Benjamin. So.
I was just going to say the Shelton Benjamin spots in that match is what I like the most, man.
Yeah.
He seemed on the ball, actually, like athletically, everything. He just seemed like he almost turned the clock a little bit, Shelton, man, with his athleticism. Considering he's 50 years old practically, that's still impressive, man.
I mean, not practically, actually.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, we knew what this was going to be. That's the only thing that sucked. It's like, even if you liked the match, didn't like the match, you knew what the match was going to end with, people hurt, so to speak. And MJF actually did, contribute a little bit.
He did.
So,
he did. But I still I don't think the chemistry is even there, dude, to be fair.
Well, in any case, we'll have to just keep our eyes on that and see what they do. I still like it, but, we'll see.
I need to see more.
Okay, now, here we go. Speedball Mike Bailey versus Kazuchika Okada for the the Continental Breakfast, the
Yeah.
Continental Championship.
The brunch championship.
hmm So what I promised I would do is watch this match to see how is Okada going to deal with this guy that, now you want to talk about a guy that should be in the Hurt Syndicate. It should definitely be Mike Bailey because he hurts people.
He wouldn't suit it though. But Okada, I think, would be an interesting pick actually.
No, he doesn't hurt anybody. That's the problem.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, what I was saying is I was going to monitor this and see how does he get around this, because this guy, he does so much stuff that I'd be like, I ain't taking that, brother. I'm just not.
Dude, he kicked his head off a lot of times in this match, bro. And I was saying that's what it's going to be. But the kicks, you know what? To Okada's credit, he got into it halfway through the match. It turned up a notch completely.
Well, yes, but the kicks are one thing with Bailey, because he's kicking you and he's laying them in, but he's wearing kick pads.
Looks like it.
So
right,
it's true. To some degree that's mitigated, and you know that. And if you know how to take the kicks, it's fine. It looks worse than it is sometimes. But if you know how to take the kicks, you'll be all right. And Okada knew how to take pretty much most of the kicks, I think. It was a little stiffer when it got up around the head area, but it still looked relatively safe. It looked like Speedball was putting it on the traps, not so much the neck or head. So, that was okay.
Kick was pretty stiff.
Yeah, but that's right across the back. It doesn't.
True.
It's just a slap with the foot. It doesn't really hurt that bad. But what I was more concerned about was the other type of bumps that he was going to try to do. So what Okada did was, a lot of the shit that Bailey does, he wouldn't let him do. For a shoot and as a work. Bailey would go up for something and Okada would cut him off.
Push him off. Right.
Rather than take the move. But at least he's telling the story of Bailey's trying to do his stuff and it's getting shut down.
Right.
The only two things that Bailey was able to really land, it was the same thing. He just landed it twice, but he did that standing, shooting star where he lands the knees on the chest, right? And it looked like it fucking killed him. And I don't know that there's a safe way to take that. You could definitely get a cracked rib or something taking that. But that was really it. That was the two moves that Okada took and a bunch of stiff kicks.
All kicks, mainly, right.
He avoided all the other dangerous shit that Mike Bailey liked to do. And matter of fact, he actually landed Okada did a baseball slide, which I never see him do, even though he used to play baseball. But he never uses the baseball slide in a match, but he did one here. So that was interesting. Yeah. So another thing I wanted to point out was, again, I listened to the Cornette review of this match. I don't think he watched it, actually.
I
really
shit
don't.
On it completely.
I don't think either one of them watched it. And they were talking about how slow and sluggish Okada was. It's just
that's bullshit. Straight up.
If you remember the spot, you know how he does one of his signature moves. He doesn't always do it. But one of his moves, he does the snapmare and then he does the running drop kick, the running low drop kick. The speed with which he performs that, that's like Leo Rush level running speed. But he's not just going to do that the whole match. You have to understand,
he picks his spots, man. You know what I mean? He's
there's
methodical.
gears. You go in gears.
Exactly.
You shift out of first gear.
Over and over, he goes by the match, by the way the match is how he works. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he was not fucking slow. Look, I will say the start was a little. It's when they were still filling each other out a little bit, but the match really kicked in, and it was actually I got into it. I'm not gonna lie. At first, I was thinking, he's gonna suck, but I was actually into it, man. And it What the
So-
hell are you talking about, Frank? Blow off what other
I don't
races?
So, anyways, there was the spot when Speedball hits that kick. You know the one, that one,
Yeah, right.
the finisher, the one he's using as a finisher, and Okada grabs the rope to like get the 3 count, but fucking Rick Knox, that idiot, he counted to 3.
I know. I
He
saw that. but his
counted
head
to
was on the
3
fucking
on
rope,
it, and then
bro.
and then he was like, no, like you don't, whatever. Anyways, whatever.
Get rid of this guy. He's a fucking dweeb,
Can't.
dude. Just
You can't. He's a Young Bucks mainstay. That's their guy. That's their
Man, how do
dad.
you
That's their
fuck up
secret
like
dad or
that?
something.
yeah, but he fucks up already too many times as it is. But how do you fuck that? And it was right at the end too, like pretty much. It was cringe, bro. You know what I mean? It was real cringe. It really threw me off, man. I was like, oh, Okada wouldn't have been happy about that either. For real, I think.
Yeah. Also, how about that drop kick when he tried the Ultimate Weapon?
That was beautiful,
Remember that?
bro. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, dude. I mean, who does better drop kicks than that?
Well, I mean, nobody's ever done a drop kick like that. he's in mid shooting star press, and Okada drop kicked him perfectly.
Perfect, bro. He was in the mid, like it was. Dude, I don't know. Okada is one of those guys, man. Like he turns into slow motion, bro. When things are just, it was like when Bailey jumped off the turnbuckle. It was just, he was high, bro. It looked like it was pretty high when he did the drop kick, man. It's like he shot up in the air and it was just perfect, bro. And it didn't look like he hurt the guy or anything like that. It was like he knew exactly what he was doing. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anyone better in the business, and I hate saying this because other people probably shit on me, that can drop kick like Okada does, bro. For real, any way of drop kicking, no matter what type, he's just it's so like beautiful, bro, and perfect every time.
All right. Well, anyway, Rainmaker after that, and that's the end. So we knew that was going to happen too. But I did say I was going to pay attention, so I did. Now, the next match...
Quickly, has he lost a match in AEW yet?
Yeah, he's lost.
I'm talking about one-on-one, though.
Not very many.
Okay. Because I don't recall, I can't even remember the last time he
No,
lost.
certainly nothing since winning that belt.
Right. Oh, well, yeah, obviously.
Next match is Mina Shirakawa versus Toni Storm for the AEW Women's Championship. Another match we already knew the outcome of.
Right. I
Anything
didn't
to
really
say?
care. I didn't really care about this fucking match. I'll be honest, man.
Okay. Storm 0. Next is Anarchy in the Arena.
First of all, why are they a bunch of dorks? Can I just ask you that? Like, really? It's a serious question.
I don't know. Is there anybody that you're excluding from that? Or are all these people, is everyone involved dork? I will say,
Maybe Joe, but
oh, that's
he's
right.
getting
Yeah,
dorky a
not
little
necessarily
bit
a dork.
lately. That's what I'm. Yeah, but he's getting sort of close to the edge of dorkiness, if you know what I mean. Lately, just slightly.
Will Hobbs is still big, black, and jacked.
That was great. Just wearing the shirt, big, black, and jacked. I kind of popped at that.
Yeah, is he still a dork, or can you be a dork and big, black, and jacked?
Nah, not yet. But he's treading though. He's treading dork waters, if you know what I mean.
Well, you know the founding fathers are.
Well, the Bucks, as a matter of fact, and of course Kenny. Unfortunately, sorry Kenny, but you're a dog. But the Bucks coming out the way they did with the freaking, what the fuck, bro? Really? Why? Why were they being the what do you call it, dude? The old American style fucking Tea Party shit, like. You know, like Boston Tea Party type of shit. Like, why the fuck? Why?
Because they're the founding fathers.
Oh, okay, I get it. All right, duh. Sure. Should have fucking figured that out. I didn't until you just said it. So who's the dog now, huh? But yeah, but still, it's just corny, bro. And the music was corny. And then fucking I'm so excited. Starts playing. I'm like, really? Before fucking let the bodies hit the floor, which just kept going and going and going until who went through the speaker again? Was it Swerve, I think?
I don't know.
Well, basically, Cesaro done the fucking, what do you call it? The big fucking, what do you call
the
it
swing.
again?
Oh,
The
I
swing.
did see that. I didn't know who went through the speaker, though.
Yeah, he was doing the big swing, or the giant swing, like it's really called, onto Swerve. And apparently there was a speaker that didn't look like a speaker. Personally, I thought it was just a trash can, but the commentator said it was a speaker because the music, as soon as his head went into it, and it looked pretty good, actually, the music just cut out.
Yeah, because that's how that works. You only have one speaker in the arena.
I'm so excited.
All right, okay, look. So Hook came back.
With a golf fucking...
Yeah, but then he left, which is like, you don't have to leave, or you could have showed up from the start. You know, that's the thing about these matches. No psychology ever. No. Obviously, there's no psychology, but even within the no psychology, there's no psychology. Like, if your guys are having a street fight, why don't you just come out? So I guess he was late. Maybe he was late. That's what it was.
Dude.
And Gabe Kidd was also late. Just for the record, like they were both late, you know?
But bro, it's a no disqualification match, correct? So why would you run back to the back? It doesn't make sense, man. WWE was guilty of doing this too recently on their shows, where it's a no disqualification match. You got two guys on the outside and they're doing nothing throughout the match. Like, hello, you know what I mean?
Also, Mark Briscoe came back, but he didn't clean up all the blood that was on him. You know, from getting stabbed in the head and his head smashed open earlier. He just left it all on there and waited patiently for this match so that he could run in at the end.
No shit. It was like a blur with him. He came in, done his thing, gone. That was it. But good on him.
When Kenny Omega did the one wing table, why did it explode?
I don't know. I mean, you tell me. I mean, why? Maybe there was a bomb there. Clearly. I mean, I can only assume, actually.
It looked like the bomb from the exploding ring match.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it exploded bigger. The explosion was bigger on that than it was then, believe it or not. I don't know. Maybe they found actual dynamite, literally. Nah, look, man, it's stupid. This match is just getting more ridiculous every year, dude. Have you noticed that? The first one, I didn't mind, the very first one, because there was a lot of instances where they were going literally all over the arena, like all sorts of different places, inside different sort of rooms and shit, which was funny. But this was just, fuck that. It was just dumb, bro. This was just, let's have a laugh. Let's have some fun. Let's all go and fucking... I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know what to call this. Is it wrestling?
Let's just forget it. So Swerve puts on a pair of sneakers that have tacks on the bottom of it and stomps
He's
on
tough,
somebody.
bro.
I don't even remember who. One of the Bucks, probably.
Yeah, it was. It was the Bucks.
Should have been Wheeler.
I can't remember which
whatever.
one. All I'm seeing, they're wearing the same shit. When you don't see their heads half the time, can you tell the difference? I mean, fucking seriously.
No. Okay. Here's a palate cleanser match. They don't have any divas, so they had a palate cleanser match. It's Takeshita, Josh Alexander, and Kyle Fletcher versus Paragon. As if anybody wanted to watch this after this last thing that we just saw.
I literally walked out of the room.
If you didn't watch it, you would have missed, as I alluded to earlier, Kyle Fletcher picking up Adam Cole for a powerbomb, throwing him down on the apron so that the only thing that hit it was the back of Adam Cole's head.
That was bad, dude. Apparently he's got heat from that, from what I was reading on the dirt sheets. I didn't mention it earlier because it's, you know, it could be total bullshit, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did get heat for doing that, because that was just ridiculous, man. Why did he even do that for? Especially with some guy. Not that I give a shit about Adam Cole, but I guess I do somewhat care about his well-being. You know what I mean? I care about any professional wrestler's well-being. Why do that to him when he's got all sorts of shit going on with his body, man?
I don't know.
Do you feel like Cole Fletcher gets a bit carried away in matches lately, especially with this sort of change of personality? I feel like he gets a bit overexcited a little bit, man.
I'm sorry. Since Aussie Open was in New Japan, I've been saying this kid is fucking dangerous. It's been
You have.
years.
That's true. You have. I remember you saying that.
And you would think at some point with repetition, you would improve to the point where at least this would never happen.
Right.
Because you either have no depth perception, like you're blind in one eye, or you're just the fucking shits. A power bomb on the apron, like it's the easiest thing in the world. You don't actually, secret guys, when you do a power bomb, you don't actually have to throw the guy down. You can let him go, and he can take his own bump to a degree, especially on something like that where it's like supposed to be vertical, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're not laying him flat down on the mat inside the ring, then when you're picking him up, you just kind of let him go, and he can, whatever. But you have to at least give him the room to take his own bump.
What room? He full slammed it. Like it was literally like boom. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes. Like, that everything about all of that was wrong. So it's things like that where when I bury this guy for however many years now, I've been burying him and saying he's a cheese sandwich anyways. Like, I don't care how good you are at doing moves. I don't care how many roids you take and how much oil you put on. I don't care how pink your tights are, looking like Hustler Rip Rogers out there without the skill. Like, I don't care about any of that because you can't do something simple like this without potentially killing a man. Adam Cole is lucky. He is lucky.
Well, if all the rumors are true, like I said, apparently he did get heat for it. So, what? That's the best way for Cole to get the belt? What are you talking about, Zane?
You know Zane Vicious. Like,
I know.
He's doing his job. He's just trolling.
He's on the ball tonight, that's for sure, today.
Yeah, this was so... It was so bad. Like, he almost missed the whole apron, actually. Like, he's going for... Imagine giving a guy the Kevin Owens apron powerbomb, right? Like, imagine doing that, but almost completely missing the apron.
Shit. With that
like, why aren't you just throwing him right down to the floor then? If that's what you're going to do, if you're that bad at it, if you're that blind, can we get this guy some goggles, like some Horace Grant prescription goggles?
Jeez. That'd be good. That'd be gold. Yeah, there's no excuse, dude. There really isn't. I mean, I can shit on him. Absolutely, me. I shit on my own friggin' wrestlers, and Cole's just an idiot, dude. Right now, like, he just doesn't give a shit. That's the only conclusion I can come to. And the thing is, was this move even planned with Adam Cole per se, or did you just go ahead and do it? You think?
Yeah.
So you think Adam Cole would have been cool with taking that spot?
Oh
anyway?
Yeah.
Well, then
he's a nice
that's
guy.
on him too.
Yeah. No, it is on him in the sense of like, if you work with the guy and you can't even see how bad he is that I can see from the couch, then yeah, it is a little bit your fault, but still, anyways, whatever. So, Kyle Fletcher also finishes the match by giving a brainbuster to the other Kyle. I assume that Kyle is also still alive. Look like whatever.
Barely.
And then, for some reason, as these guys continue to get heat, like anybody cares about their angle, this match was only there so you forget about Anarchy in the arena before the main event. And then they do this thing where Brody King, Tomohiro Ishii, and Hiroshi Tanahashi, surprisingly showing up of all people, run out and start fighting these guys. Like,
why? It was a
yeah,
weird
what's
finish.
Tanahashi gonna do?
Weird. Right.
Like, what else? What's he gonna do? He didn't show up on Dynamite or Collision, so
do you think he was just sitting at the back watching the show, for example, and Tony's next to him? He's like, Tony goes, Hiroshi, go get him. Go Ace.
No, I don't think that. All right. So anyway, whatever. Look, man, we were almost done a whole show. So
I know of this garbage.
Yeah, we got to do 2 shows in something around 30 minutes, but we're gonna have a lot of bitching to do about this. Well, actually, maybe not. So Ospreay versus Hangperson for the men's Owens finals and a shot at championship at All In. I damn near promised you guys that Will Ospreay was going to win.
So did I.
And
So did I.
Sure enough, he doesn't. I don't even think I really need to explain to you. I think all of you guys have already had all week to think about it. You don't even need me to tell you anything about that booking decision. Let's just chalk it up to, this is your company. You can book it how you want. And you clearly love Hangman Page. So
I mean, it's borderline obsession at this point.
Go for it. Now, what you're going to get out of it is anybody's guess. But personally, I know it obviously doesn't matter what I think. But at this point, I think Jon Moxley needs to win. That's the point. Keep it on him. It's better with him than it would be with Paige.
I said the same thing on the Smack Attack, actually, as we sort of were talking about it just briefly. I'd rather Moxley win too, man. I mean, as a matter of fact, I don't want fuck Hangman. Like, why? But you know what else is weird?
And to be clear, fuck all three of these people. But anyway, go ahead.
What's weird, there was talk amongst the dirt sheets, and I didn't bring it up again because, again, it's just gossip. But I'm just going to say now that allegedly Ospreay wanted to lose. He didn't want to, like, win the match. He wanted Hangman to have his spotlight, even though he's had it a bazillion times in AEW already, and it's been a failure every time. So allegedly, it was him that said, no, give it to Hangman. I don't need to be in that spot for whatever reason, if true. If that's true, you're a fucking idiot, straight up.
Well, we've already said that he is. This would more confirm it.
Well, there you go.
As a matter of fact, he's said he's an idiot. Like, everybody has said Will Ospreay's an idiot, including Will Ospreay. So we're all on the same page for once, except the page that won this match. We were not on that page. He was the only one on that page. Nobody thinks that this should happen.
Weird, dude.
Yeah. Whatever. I understand you don't want to politic for yourself because that's a bad look, but neither one of these guys should be saying any of that. It doesn't make sense. It actually,
well,
it doesn't, and it doesn't have anything to do, honestly. I'm divorcing myself of personal feelings here because even though I think, if you really think about it, Hangman Page has cost this company more money than he will ever make it. Not only do they have to pay Hangman Page's salary, right? But they lost all the revenue that CM Punk brought in because of him.
Because of him, right.
That's the origin point. Maybe Punk would have eventually left, but it all started when Hangman went into business for himself on that promo, and that's when Punk cut the Muffins promo, and that's when Brawl Out, and blah, 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 and then yada, 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 and all this other chain of events happened that led to where it is, where he's over there making tons of money for himself and the company, selling all kinds of merch. It's like he never left. They chant his name all the time, even when he's not there or whether he is there. All this other stuff, that's not happening for Hangman, right? He cost them that, and nothing about AEW is necessarily on the upswing, and it's certainly not going to be if they put the belt on him. So, not to say that Ospreay would either, but I'm just saying, like, having Hangman in your company has been detrimental monetarily more than it's been beneficial. You're
right. And I'll go one better. He even the horse that he rode on in the very first pay-per-view where he was going for the championship died right after that pay-per-view when he rode it. Did you know that?
Yeah. That's
how bad he is. He's costing money with horses dying. The company is losing money. He gets shot after shot after shot after. I don't know why. I mean, I guess like you said, Tony absolutely adores him, like literally adores him. And it's not right for business, man. Like right now it is, whether you like it or not, it was Ospreay, I would have thought, right? But clearly they're going another direction. Cool. And you know what's sadder? I'm hoping Moxley wins, but easy.
I don't think so. But
That's
who knows
what's gonna
anymore?
Suck.
Obviously, we can't call anything anymore. Everything's unpredictable. Anything
Now
can
I know
happen
why
in
you don't
the
do
AEW.
predictions. Fuck this, especially with
So whatever.
AEW.
So they go about 40, right?
Yeah, easy.
And they do a match where they do all the moves they know and kick out of them. That's it. If you like that, it was
showcase
perfect.
match. Yeah.
If you don't like it, it wasn't. But it was exactly what you probably pictured in your mind. I don't think they surprised anyone, except maybe the finish. That was the only thing that's surprising about it.
I was shocked, yeah, with the finish. Absolutely, dude. But yeah, this was typical of both of these guys, this match.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. So now we gotta see how they follow this up. Okay.
This is even worse.
Paige is the guy. Here we go.
The bride. He's
So
the bride.
Dynamite. Yeah.
Yep.
Dynamite. Shivani brings out Hang Person for one of those speeches that he does. And he does it. He does the speech.
Absolutely.
Tells all this sad story about how, whatever. And then he says, thanks, Will Ospreay. You made me a man that I am or whatever. And then he's like, but then, now, I don't know how many people really thought about this, but he basically was just like, hey, get this Owen Hart championship belt away from me. Like he hands it off like it's disease ridden or something. Like I ain't going to be defending this. So get it out of my face is basically what he's trying to say. And I'm just like, was that necessary? Like, I know I get your point, but like, yeah, why would he care about Owen Hart? The guy like died before he was born or whatever.
Yeah, he doesn't care about like legends or advice or anything like that.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, none of that. So get this memorial championship the hell away from me while I do my shitty emotional like speech. And then he promises that he's going to win the championship at All In. So now he's promised, okay? Which would be another great thing if he loses. Because now a babyface promised and he won't be able to deliver. So I'll laugh again if that happens.
And then everyone will turn on him too, because they're all backing him now or trying to.
Yeah. Why are people texting me I don't care if Ron Killings got released, bro. I don't care. It happens.
He's still getting that shit.
I just got a text from Big Ray, like, God, everybody go about your day. All right. So anyway,
Ray, for fuck's sake.
So anyway, Swerve's music plays. And then he's like, hey, remember this? And he plays that video of when the Young Bucks were like, we did it for you, Adam Page, like all that stuff, right? And then he's like, is this true? And he's like, hey, I don't have to explain anything to you. He's like, and then Swerve's like, well, I don't believe you. And then Ospreay comes out with his music and he's like, we all got to work together, bruv. And then Swerve rejects that. So everyone walks out on Will Ospreay. They're like, you're such a nerd for trying to make us be friends. Like, we're out of here.
Dude, no offense to anybody. Nick's in 11. No offense to anyone out there, right? I'm not judging anyone, but this was very gay.
Hey, does anybody, oh yeah, exactly.
It really was.
By the way, does anybody want to be the sixth person to say that R-Truth got released here? Just curious. You could be number 6. You could be lucky number 6.
I've got
Nixon
breaking news,
6?
actually. Did I tell you?
Ooh.
R-Truth just got released about an hour ago.
You win.
Yes. Wait. Do I get a... There we go. I'll win.
All right.
I'm going to throw myself down the stairs. Don't do that, Ray. Relax.
Oh, Frank got in too. He's lucky number 7.
Whoa, we got number 7. Who's number 8? Oh, Ray, number 8 again. He's double or nothing now.
All right. Kid Quick was released. What, from Punch Out? I didn't know he was signed.
No, Liz, stop it. Oh, just signed by WWE. Thank God.
Actually, Liz broke that news. Ron Cena.
Yeah.
All right. We got to move on. We got a lot.
Yes,
okay.
please.
And we're gonna speed through it too.
Let's do it.
The Dick Riders pull up, and Gabe Kidd is in the back of the truck shirtless. Is he trying to tan this way?
Is he getting fatter?
Is that how you get a tan, riding the back of the truck?
Of course.
Through the desert?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Fuck, I can't stand. Oh, anyway, whatever. Continue.
All right. Mox, Gabe, and Marina versus Mark Briscoe. I know you suffered a massive head trauma, but, get out there. Briscoe, Speedball, and Willow. Okay. Statlander's at the monitor watching. Claudio does a jump up. Commander immediately comes from somewhere because it sure as hell wasn't the entrance ramp, but he was right there. Like as soon as Claudio appeared, he was up on the ropes from the other side of the arena, like jumping at him. And then they go fight off.
What the fuck? This match was pointless. I don't even know why it was really happening. I didn't even care about it. But yeah, that was weird with Commander, dude. That was really like confused me. But whatever. Cool.
I forgot who won the match.
Honestly, so did I.
Oh, no, I do remember now. I remember now because it became an angle. So Mox choked out Mark Briscoe. And he passed out again in the Bulldog choke.
Again? Wow. Well, see.
Well, and not Mark Briscoe again, but like we saw the pass out with Daniel Garcia. I guess that's where I was thinking again, but.
Nothing's new here. But this is what they do in AEW. They love, literally repeating themselves. If it's not on the same night, it'll be a couple of nights later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing to talk about here, man. I didn't care about this match at all.
Hurt Syndicate vignette / promo. Thumbs up. Megalope promo. Thumbs in the middle. It was too short to care. I can't say it was bad. It wasn't even, they said two things. Ricochet promo. He says, hey, everybody around here's got a crew. I need a crew. It's funny he said the word crew because there's a crew named Crew.
That's true.
So is he going to get them with the Koopa jackets? Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this on the buy-in, but the Koopa jackets that the crew were wearing were like a tan and brown mix. I think, right?
Very
so
bourgeois.
It's like switching it up. Yeah.
Nice. Thumbs up for that.
Yeah. All right, now it's Megalope versus Harley J, the rematch. No DQ.
No DQ. Ooh.
Yeah. So I'm sitting here watching this, right? And yes, actually this one I'm watching. So I'm watching this and they do this spot because it's no DQ. They have weapons, right? And I was so like, can someone please pull a kendo stick out so I can disavow this match? But nobody did. So I had to watch it and comment on it. So they do this ping pong spot. Like they both have these big weapons, like a 2x4 or something that Harley Cameron brought with her, this big goofy piece of wood. And like, I forget what Anna Jay had. And they're just like whacking Megan back and forth. It's the ping pong spot, like with the punches where she turns to the other person and gets punched and whatever, but with big weapons. And Megan's just not selling it. She's like,
no, she's not.
She eventually just like clotheslines them both or whatever. So she doesn't sell it. And I'm looking at it, right? Like I'm watching Megan and I'm looking at it and I'm like, you are barely bigger than Anna Jay. Who are you to no sell anything? Like you're not that big. This is not like a Omos versus,
no.
like Rey Mysterio situation. This is friggin' same size, basically woman.
She's a goddess, though.
If you take Anna Jay's ass into account, they probably weigh the same.
That's grown, by the way. If you notice that, it seems a little bit bigger. But anyway,
no complaints.
Not that I'm complaining because that's absolute gold, by the way. But yeah,
but you know what I'm saying? Like they're treating Megan Bain like she's 7 feet tall, 300 pounds, and she's like, you're just Anna Jay.
It's true,
essentially.
I mean, but she's a goddess, though. That's why she's a giant.
And remember when Anna Jay was choking out dudes left and right?
That was stupid, by the way.
I know, but that's established canon now. So Megan Bain should be at least a little bit susceptible. You would think if Anna Jay is taking like a fucking wooden log and hitting her with it, you would think she could sell it a little bit. You get what I'm saying? Like, am I crazy? I am crazy for watching this and continuing to talk about it. But seriously. Come on.
Jesus, man. Like I said, you're killing it tonight again. Just take it easy, Vet. I don't want you to blow a gasket, bro. Like, I mean, just chill. Just chill out. It's all good.
I'm actually having fun. This is what working is.
Oh, I hope no one
Anyway,
heard
so
that.
they do that, and then Harley, because they love Harley Cameron.
They do.
We know that.
Absolutely.
So they do this spot where she gets picked up like by Megan and dropped face first on the stairs, and then she gets gimmick busted open, like where it's supposed to look like her nose broke or something.
Yeah, but
And you're
no.
like, I'm sure some people probably thought that was a legit hard way, right? But you can tell by the way they do it that it was a gimmick, because the announcers kept trying to put over how tough she was for continuing the match and how these kind of things happen. And like, they were just, they oversold it too much, because whenever somebody gets busted open for real, they don't put it over. So
Yeah,
this actually figured into the rest of the match. So for whatever reason, they wanted to give her the fake blood to make it look like her nose broke or whatever.
and it looked fake too, man. That's another thing.
But then they do finally beat her. So it's like we don't need to protect Harley Cameron that much. Like, who do you think she is that you need to, like, oh my God, the only reason that Megan Bain could beat Harley Cameron is because she got busted open in the face. Like,
she's
a comedy
hard
act.
nut, as Australians would say. Vet. That's why.
Anyway, enough.
Gee,
Mercedes low rides up here in El Paso.
orale.
Then we get the Ops versus a thing I didn't know existed. Frat House.
Yeah, when did this happen? Like,
I
as
don't
in,
know,
when
but
did this-
remember when you were asking where's Preston Vance?
right? Well, here he is.
Yeah, here he is. Remember when you were asking where's Griff Garrison? No, because
Here
you
he
never
is.
asked that, because no one ever asked that.
But he's
here
here now.
too.
So wait, they're
And the other guy, the other guy that deserted the D'Angelo family, because Stax left the
yeah.
D'Angelo family, but the
That's
other
right.
guy that did it way before him and came all the way here,
That was
he was in the match
ages.
too.
But I hadn't seen him for 2 years. It feels like at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird.
So anyway-
they're a fraternity now.
Frat House.
Oh, I see. And this
That
just
gimmick
happened
always gets
magically.
over. Every single frat boy gimmick always gets over. Everybody knows that. You can think of all the great ones throughout history that have gotten over. So anyway, Hobbs hits the spine buster on like what seems like 7 guys in a row, and then finally pins one, and the match is over.
He was just having fun. Come on. But I still don't understand where this frat house thing started. Was it on Dark? Was I in
Probably
the
on-
Dark on Dark?
No, they canceled that years ago.
I
It's
know, that's
probably
why I
Ring of
said that. I was joking, but
Honor. Yeah. Okay, well, this is a joke too. Renee brings out Jamie Hayter and like, hey, you're a loser. What's next? And then the lights go out before she can answer. And then all of a sudden,
who the fuck is
well,
this?
all of a sudden we're watching a logo on the screen because this person has already attacked Jamie Hayter and the camera missed it. It's Thekla, Jimmy. Thekla's here.
Who's Thekla,
Thekla.
dude?
Thekla is what they had left after Mariah May left Stardom.
Oh, I
She's
see.
the only
Okay.
white girl left.
All right.
And now she's gone.
So she's literally the scraps of what's somewhat decent in Stardom.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about her at all.
The only time I've seen Thekla is in like 6-woman tags.
Really?
I've never seen any real focus on her, so I don't know. But yeah, here
I
she
have
is.
No idea.
All right, well, moving on.
I really don't. I don't know who she is. But
Hey, what can I do? Hey, guess what's next?
do I need to get ready?
Nope, you don't have any sound bites for this. It's
Oh.
a Mystico sizzle reel.
Wait. A Mystico what?
A sizzle reel. You know, the little package they put together with those cool moves to show you how cool he is.
Okay, when you said sizzle, I'm thinking of a sausage sizzle at this point. Cool, but what do we need? Everyone knows who Mystico is anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, thank you for my thing was like I just want to say thank you to AEW for telling us how much of a legend this guy is after you put him in several meaningless, trios matches already.
I mean, what? I mean, why not, right? I mean, yeah, cool. We get a vignette, a package for Mystico.
Yep. Get ready. Get excited for the guy you've already seen doing meaningless matches. All right. Speaking of meaningless, Kyle Fletcher versus Adam Cole for the TNT title. I'm surprised Cole can even walk, but here we are. The family comes out, tries to help. The Paragon fights them off. Josh causes a disqualification as Cole is about to win the match. And then Brody King comes out with a chair and makes a save.
What am I going to say to this?
Okay,
This is
don't
all
say anything.
pointless. All
Brody
pointless.
King versus Josh Alexander is the next match. They go right
Don't
into
care.
it because
Move
everybody's
right
out
along.
there already. And then we
Move
get
right
more
along.
juice in this match. Josh
Yeah.
Alexander does get hard weight here. And not only that, Brody King wins with that fucked up pile driver he does. So now Josh Alexander still has yet to win a meaningful match on this show. He gets beat by the guy that they usually beat all the time. So now we know whose values is where in the company. And
What are they doing to this? Why did they even hire this guy? He's so irrelevant. It's not funny.
you're right. It's not funny.
I ain't laughing.
Cold Blooded says the Boom Hounds. Not bad.
Boom, boom.
Better than whatever we might actually get.
Why not? Why is everyone's obsession with hounds? But you know what I mean? Like, it's always hounds of justice. We got dogs barking everywhere in both companies.
I guess everyone loves dogs, so
I mean, I'm a dog guy myself. But
guess,
fuck,
yeah.
I don't bark.
right.
I'm
I
just saying.
Liz says Kyle Fletcher needs to grow his hair and stop looking like a skinhead. No, Kyle Fletcher needs to take 2 weeks off and quit the business. So
Oh,
actually, Fletcher and Cole need to what they need is security to separate them, because this even match between these two guys requires a pull apart.
I know what she's saying, though. I get totally what she means by that, for my own reasons. But I won't get into that now.
All right, here's the main event. It's a promo. It's the CEO and Tony Storm. Tony Storm interrupts, who claimed that they were a greater legend than Owen Hart and Eddie Guerrero.
Jesus Christ.
And she says, basically, Tony says, basically, what took you so long? Like, why does it take so long? And then there's a tease of some violence. And then they have, like, as the show goes off there, they kind of have like a mini dance battle. Like a miniature dance battle. It's not a full dance battle because the announcers are, yeah.
I mean, girls gonna be girls, right? I mean, shit.
Yep.
There's nothing really truly, there's nothing to talk about in that segment. Really,
Nope.
I've got nothing to say.
Mini dance battle. That's it.
That's
the
battle.
important part.
That's it.
All right,
feeling
let's go to
yourself.
Collision then. Let's quickly
That
go
one's
to
feeling
Collision.
yourself, yeah. Collision. Let's get collided.
The qualifier for the 4-way for the International Championship. Match 1, Claudio versus Commander. I feel like I've seen this match a lot in this company for some reason. I don't know why.
On the same show, by the way.
We did get an interview with Commander, though. And Alex.
Yeah,
And a
I
woman
did.
I've never seen before that's probably from CMLL.
Yeah, I have no idea. But more than likely.
If you were to say in one word what happened to Commander, what would you choose? I'll give you a hint. Think of Sentinel from Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Okay, but the problem is with that, because I'm not the biggest friggin' fan of the actual series, I can't even think about what you mean by that, by mentioning
Neutralized.
Sentinel. Oh, true.
There you go. He got neutralized. Sorry, Commander. Maybe next time. Maybe you could go after that Ring of Honor Television Championship again. All right. We get a Dynamite recap in case you didn't watch it, and we'll see what the ratings said about the whole Hangman situation. And then Renee is there, and Swerve is there, and then Ospreay comes in, And he's like, come on, Swerve, come on. And then he's like, get out of my face. And then they get into a fight.
Will, stop being a child, please. Stop being weird, too. Like, what's his obsession, bro? I mean, bruv.
Mate.
I'm Australian. I don't even say mate. I'm just saying, like, how long are we
you're
going to...
not English.
Well, yeah, that's true. But how long is it going to take until he finally convinces him? Are we going to go through... This whole thing with them three reminds me of a show that you probably have never heard of, and neither has anyone else, called Sons and Daughters. Look it up. You understand what I mean. Just by them three. The show sucks, by the way, but it just gives me those vibes, bruv.
Zane Vicious said, Jimmy's a Nimrod. Are you that big of a genius, Zane Vicious? Or is that an accident? Because that's amazing.
Zane, don't. You know what? Forget Zane. Forget him.
All right. Just making sure. All right. Next is the family, the Don Callis family versus the Stone Paragon is what I'm going to call it because...
more dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, because we got, Ishii, the pit bull.
The pit bull.
Yep.
Oof.
Unfortunately, he takes a low blow to the Stones, and Takeshita hits the Raging Fire for the win. So I was happy to see Ishii and sad to see the loss.
You know they're going to put it over Takeshita no matter what, bro. But it's always good to see him, of course. So, but still, again, he just is. They're using him as a complete loser, which is cool. I get it, but I feel like they're just gonna. I don't know, man. But Ishii likes a payday, I guess, in the US. So why not keep losing?
Yeah, he doesn't
bro.
care. But I'm just saying, like, I care a little.
Is he becoming the stoned pimple instead of the stoned people? If you know what I mean.
Nah. Marijuana's not legal over there. How would he even smoke it?
Actually, you go to jail for a long time over there, apparently, if you get caught. No shit.
Yeah, imagine that. So next, okay, this was a surprise. Mr. 5-tool player versus Okada again. Okada's working twice this week. That's amazing. I love it. 10 stars.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Bailey's kicks weren't too bad after all.
Nope.
But
no, I love it.
More Okada, he's always fine with me, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was great. I already spent enough time on Okada earlier in the show. You guys know he's the best. If you don't by now, you should. Just trust me. Has Ishii won an AEW in a singles lab rat? No. I don't even know if he's been booked in singles. He's always in these 6-mans and stuff.
He has worked a couple, maybe 2 or 3 singles, but yeah, I don't think he's won in a long time.
Yeah. All right, Lexi's with Danny and Fatty, and then Don Callis and Lance Archer come in, and they tell Daniel Garcia to think, because that's something he doesn't do. Because they're trying to get him to join, of course. I don't know why, but I mean, when you got a guy with a winning streak like Lance Archer, why do you need Daniel Garcia?
I don't know, man. Big guys need little guys, bro.
Shivani brings out FTR. Stokely Hathaway offers a future match to any luchadors that want one. Atlantis Jr. and Templario come out. And then they get into a lucha brawl.
This is kind of funny, though. I'll give him that. And Stokely was on point with this. Heck, I'll even say this. I hate to say it. I actually didn't mind the promo from both of Cash Cashton and Dax Daxton. I'm not going to lie. And the Mexicans in the crowd, what were they chanting in Spanish? I couldn't quite understand it properly.
I forgot.
It was hard to tell.
The Pero chant?
I couldn't even tell. I couldn't tell, but whatever it was kind of funny. I think this was pretty well done by their standards in some ways. I actually didn't mind it.
Yeah. They did the thing, just in case you didn't watch, which you probably didn't. They did the thing where Axe would ask a question. Axe would ask them a question and then take away the microphone before they could answer.
Right. No, it was good, man. I always piss on them, but I'll say this. I didn't mind it. And what's his name? Templario. Is that his name? And Atlantis.
Junior.
Junior, that is, exactly. But like, why are they going? Are we getting a Worlds Collide in AEW? Is that what's happening suddenly? Are we going there?
Well, they had booked that show in
Arena,
Mexico.
They do in Mexico, correct?
Yeah,
you're right.
That's why the WWE had to hurry up and do all that stuff to make this happen so they could fuck with them.
But when was the Mexican event happening for AEW? What date?
I don't recall what date it was.
Okay. All right. I don't recall either. Someone in the chat tell me when that is. Oh, yeah, Forbidden Door. Exactly. Fuck. That's the next paper.
Right.
But isn't that usually August?
Who knows? Forbidden Door, that reminds me.
Oh, no,
our next
July.
match is Dark Sky.
Yeah.
Versus Mina Shirakawa. Mina wins. And then Dark Julia. Gets the heat back for her new dark friend. And for some strange reason, well, I guess it's not that strange because it's Mina, but Tony immediately comes out with music and saves her friend. Yeah.
And we get more shenanigans going on.
I guess we got a Fighter Fest match.
Fighter Fest, 4 hours, by the way.
Yeah, 4 hours. We need matches, so here's one. Gates of Agony get a vignette. We go to break. When we come back, we get the Gates of Agony versus, I wrote these down, GMO, Kaminari, and Cosmo Orion.
So we've got a star system. We've got like preservatives from like food and shit.
He's genetically modified. Yes.
Food, exactly. And what was the other one again? The first one?
No, the Gates of Agony were the other
Oh,
two.
yeah, sorry. I don't know why I was trying to bunch them up. What sort of names are these, bro? What would you call yourself?
The kind of names that you'd expect not to last in a match with the Gates of Agony, which is the only kind of match they can win. So they do win. And so my question is, okay, now what? You know, the Gates of Agony get a strong win, and what? So do something
the gates
now.
open. They just open up, bro.
And that's the thing. They already wrestled the Hurt Syndicate. So where are you gonna? What are you gonna do? All right. So anyway, they show Max Caster at an assembly of some kind. They didn't bother to explain the setup, but he's there in a room full of people, and he's saying that if you all sign this petition that says he's the best wrestler alive, then he's going to take a picture with everybody. So he passes the thing around, and people are signing it, and he's like, don't worry about space. I've got several pages. And then he says, okay, everybody get ready to line up for pictures. And then he just runs out the room. He sprints out the room and runs down the hall. So it was funny, but it was also like, what was this? What even was this? It wasn't like a convention. It looked like a lecture. Like he looked like he was getting ready to give a lecture or something. Anyway, whatever. LFI versus Fox Flight. We got a new look Mortos.
Yes.
We got the Beast Mortos. Yeah, the LFI had like a white and gold type color theme going on in their gear. And
does it really matter anymore?
Yeah, sure, why not? And like Mortos had like a braided beard like thing on his mask, and he's just this is doing something.
Mortos now. Are they humanizing him a little bit? Trying to humanize him slowly, very slowly.
Yeah. We also got Cowboy Layla, so that's a little fun get up yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, of course these guys lose. I'm talking about Fox Flight.
I love that name, Fox Flight. I was gonna say Layla's on the AEW show this week too.
Oh,
yeah. So that's probably why we saw her on television as well.
And so anyways, they go ahead and beat these guys, and then they start beating them up afterwards because you have to do that. And then here comes Speedball, and Commander has to save these guys. So Which I really was surprised that Roosh didn't just beat those two guys up too. Like, it doesn't seem like he's interested in selling or doing any jobs. So if someone comes out to save, just beat them up. Like,
That's it.
Who's stopping you?
Nobody. I mean, clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, why should they even give a shit, bro?
I don't know. Sonic says, is it me or does Mina Shirakawa be humping people when she pinned them? No, I think she does. I think she does.
She does, yeah. Absolutely does. That's the thing. She's very sexual too, man.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. Just quality. I didn't know she was in her 40s, dude.
She's not.
She's not?
She's like 37 or 36, 37.
I got told she was 40. I just wanted to look that up to be sure. But anyway. You can move on, by the way.
I'll just let the air be dead rather than get interrupted later.
Okay. All right, fine. That's a bit awkward. She is. You're right. 37. Turning 38 this year.
Congratulations. She looks lovely.
She does.
Mark Briscoe. Speaking of looking lovely, Mark Briscoe in a promo challenges Jon Moxley because he never quit in that match.
So didn't a whole bunch of dudes.
Well, the thing is, Mark Briscoe's kid asked him, Daddy, did you quit? So he took that personal. He's like, no, I didn't quit, and I'm going to go kick Jon Moxley's ass. So
then I'm cool with that.
Yep.
Absolutely. Go kick his ass, boy.
Yep. And I got good news and bad news. The good news is, in the main event of this show, we had Mascara Dorada, and this is the qualifier for the last spot in the four-way, versus Hechicero.
Hechicero.
Does he get the deep voice?
Sorry?
He's not a dark or a beast. Well, he's a dark magician. He uses dark magic. Doing that?
Ah, well, maybe I should do a robot instead. Nah, that doesn't work.
So the good news is Hechicero. The bad news is I really didn't have time to enjoy Hechicero. I had to speed through this. You know, I saw that he wasn't going to win. I didn't think he was going to win. It's sad that he didn't win. Mascara Dorada won.
I would have rather Hechicero any day.
Yeah,
to have one.
Take Hechicero 10 out of 10 times. And all Mascara Dorada did was a shooting star press, you know, which in 1995 would have blown people's minds. In 2025, that's the least you could do. And no offense to that. I mean, if you're finished as a shooting star press, it's a shooting star press. Here's what the offense is. This is one of those matches where I didn't pay super close attention, but I paid attention enough to notice that this is one of those matches where Hechicero's trying to get heat on the leg, and Mascara Dorada will sell it only long enough until it's time to do one of his crazy moves where he needs his leg, and then it's completely fine.
Out the window.
Yeah, so, you know, and he didn't even do the Seth Rollins. Everybody knows the Seth Rollins technique is it's fine if you do anything off your busted knee as long as you grab it afterwards. And he didn't grab it afterwards. He only grabbed it sometimes. But you got to grab it every time. Every time you hop up to the top rope and do a springboard something or whatever, and you hit it, you got to grab it after, you know?
See, sometimes some of these guys should be fired for not even doing that because that means they're not working. And when I say working, I don't mean it in the wrestling tense, even though you can say the same thing. I mean, literally, they're at work and not doing their job properly. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Why is the art of selling like so off with so many people, man? Not everyone's guilty of that, but a lot of them just don't give a shit, bro. They'll sell for the first second and then forget about it.
That's a good question. Let's end on that question because I think we brought it in a respectable time considering how much we front-loaded the show. Before we get into the answer to that, I just wanted to let everybody know that the Fatal 4-Way consists of Brody King, Kenny Omega, Mascara Dorada, and Claudio Castagnoli. So that is your 4-Way. Okay? Now that we've got the official business out of the way, who would have ever thought you end Collision with Mascara Dorada with his hand held? Never called it. I'm used to seeing this spot for Daniel Garcia, but In any case, not on the show for whatever reason. Why is the art of selling lost? I can't give you a definitive answer because obviously we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of people that aren't doing it. So I don't know what each one of their individual motivations is. But in general, I would have to guess that if they're not doing it, they just don't realize how important it is and how much easier it makes everything and how fun it can be. Because there's a generation of kids who grew up playing video games and watching high-flying wrestlers like the luchadors of the Nitro era, or TNA wrestlers, as Will Ospreay's pointed out how he loved TNA and he's a TNA kid. And they've seen all these guys like the Amazing Reds and the, you know, all these guys, these innovators and things. And they've seen these guys and they grew up saying, I mean, Amazing Red was, you could say he's an innovator. He's kind of an innovator. We get a code red all the time. What do you think the name came from?
True. No, you're right. That's true.
So
you're right. That
I'm just throwing out names of TNA because I'm trying to think, who did Will Ospreay watch, right? So it's like you have these guys and you got a generation now that's here. They're of adult age. They grew up watching these guys, right? And these guys were the guys that they weren't big, so they had to do something to stand out. So they focused on the moves, right?
Right, it makes sense. I get it.
They did the moves to get over because they couldn't be 6'5" and 300 pounds. Even if they could take all the steroids in the world, they weren't going to be tall. So they had to do what they had to do to stand out and carve their place. So they had a place. But then the people growing up watching them see that, and they don't even know why those guys had to focus on moves. They only know that they did focus on moves, so they focus on the moves, right? So they don't understand the importance of the selling, because the selling is what truly gets people over. And like I said, let me get this part out of the way first. It's easy because all you got to do is act like you're hurt. And if you do it well enough, people start thinking the shit is real again. They're like, oh, he really got fucked up actually. And then you can fool them. And you get sympathy from them, right? Like you get sympathy from the people and they want to cheer for you, right? Or if you're a heel, the way you sell is a little different. You're not trying to get sympathy. You're trying to like take bumps for the baby face so that they look like a strong hero to the people, right? So any way you're selling, you're trying to get the people to react to that and buy into what you're doing, either for your sake or somebody else's. On top of that, it's easy because selling and getting people to buy you selling is a lot easier than trying to do a 450 splash or a swanton bomb or, take a bump on the apron or a flipping pile driver, all these things. It's much easier to lay on the ground and reach out to the people like, please help me. That is so much easier and it's fun. It's fun when people react the way you want them to. Like they're thinking of the pop they're going to get from doing the move, but it's not a pop when you sell, but it's different. It's a different kind of energy that the people give to you. Like when they believe in you, right? Or they cheer for you, they clap for you. They're like, come on, get them. They'll play along with you, even though they know it's not real because Triple H and Tony Khan tell them every week it's not real. So to bring it full circle. So all that being said, why is selling important? Let's play a game. Okay. All you guys play. You too, Jimmy. Who, and just in your opinion, pick one person, in your opinion, who is the best wrestler of all time? Pick anybody you want. Everybody in the chat put one. It doesn't matter if it's, Jimmy, it doesn't matter if it's actually the best. Just anybody that you think to you could be the best.
I hate these questions, dude.
Just pick anybody.
Fuck.
And chat, put some names. Put some real names. Not a troll. Okay, Frank Hulk Hogan, that's one, okay? Best of all time. It could be any criteria you want. You don't have to, Ric Flair, good choice. Who else? Kurt Angle.
I'll say Triple H, just because it's in my mind.
Okay, Triple H, right? Ron Killings, stop it.
Is that number 10? Bin Hamin. Hey, JBK
Bin Hamin.
Comics.
All right. So let's stick with the answers that people often put on the sorry, Labrat popped me again. Or Bret Hart. Maybe Bret Hart. Maybe Bret Hart might be better than Bin Hamin. All right. So let's take some names. Dolph Ziggler don't count. He gets thrown out. Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Kurt Angle, Bret Hart, and Jimmy, did you even pick anybody? I forgot.
I said Triple H, but that's not
Triple
what
H.
I think.
Okay. Triple H, right? All these guys, right? How different are they? Kurt Angle to Hulk Hogan, you know, Hulk Hogan to Bret Hart, Ric Flair to Kurt Angle. Like, think of how different all these people are, right? What is the one thing that they all had in common?
They could all work. Like, they can all sell, in other words.
Right.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Ric Flair taking crazy bumps all over the place, flopping around for everybody. Hulk Hogan, like, he would Hulk up, but he would also like, oh, come on, help. He'd reach out to the people. And like when he started in later years, when he wore the bandana, as soon as he got hit by the heel, like he'd rip the bandana off. Oh, I'm bald and old, brother. Oh,
Yeah,
help.
he'd be like, you know,
hell, and
please don't
yeah,
touch
Bret
me,
Hart.
man.
Remember Bret Hart taking those front turnbuckles and just
I was just gonna say
crumpling like
that.
he just
The
crippled
sternum
all of a
shock.
sudden. Right. All those guys. So I'm saying, like, they all had it in common, right? Even though they're so different, right? They're so different, but they all made a lot of money and drew a lot of money and they sold, right?
Absolutely. It's a lot. It's a missing art now too. And
Not
I wonder if-
many other things does everybody have in common, right? Because you could say that, like, well, Hulk Hogan was nothing compared to Bret Hart when it came to like holds and reversals and, you know, those kind of things. Or you could say, you know, like, you couldn't have like, look at the guys like Ric Flair and Kurt Angle. Like, they just had a battery. Like, you couldn't blow those guys up. They were machines. They could just go forever and ever and ever and ever, you know, like those are things that other people couldn't do. But the one thing they could all do is sell. So, and they were masters at it. Shawn Michaels, another one, if you want to put him in the conversation of all time.
Absolutely.
Triple H, you mentioned Triple H, right? Triple H, look at what he did for, well, think about what he did for Mick Foley when he thought Mick Foley was going to retire. Like, he put Mick Foley over like $1 million. Yeah, he won in the end, but he made it look like it damn near killed him to do it.
Dude, yeah, remember like Royal Rumble 2000, his leg, like the stitches he needed on his calf, for example, he sold that all the way. Like, you would have thought he lost the match, but he won. And when he did win the match, if you remember, he was still selling that he was fucked up. If you remember, he didn't get up and celebrate. He was like messed up.
Right.
That was actually a great match too, by the way.
Right. Great match. And even Dolph Ziggler, I joke about it. But yeah, that's the one
can
thing nobody
sell.
can
He's-
take away from him. He's definitely going to sell for you, right? So,
Absolutely.
like, that's what's important. And these guys don't think, the problem with young people is, actually not even young people, a lot of people, they think everything has to be either or. Like, why can't you sell but also do spectacular moves? The spectacular moves are the ones you should be selling. You know, think about how good Rob Van Dam's Frog Splash looked, but he sold it the most, right?
He did every time. It's like he was in pain as soon as he delivered it every time.
Right. And don't confuse selling with registering, because registering means you show the pain, but selling means you continue to make people believe that something happened.
Right. And
So
he always
if
grabbed
you-
his waist too, you know, like
So if Mascara Dorada his knee is getting worked on and Hechicero's like kicking the shit out of his knee and putting his knee in twisty holds and stuff like that, well, he's showing the pain while the hold is happening. But as soon as he gets out of the hold, he's running at full speed, jumping at normal. Like, that's not selling it. You're supposed to sell me the idea that your leg is hurt, and I don't buy it.
Exactly.
That's the whole point.
Right.
So that's why it's important. Mascara Dorada should just not sell the leg. He should sell the arm or something that he doesn't need to jump with, if that's what he wants to do.
common sense.
It's very
again.
simple,
Right, I know.
you know, but again, people overthink things, or they think that if an old head tells them, hey kids, you got to do this or that, they think, oh, well, that means I can't do the other thing I want to do. No, you can do the thing you want to do, but you have to do it right and make it make sense and do the most important things. And it's so much, dude, selling is so fun. It's fun. I thought it was fun. I love doing it. I would go every time they threw me in some battle royal or something. I would just go around the ring and have everybody beat me up the whole time until I was ready to get thrown out. I wouldn't hardly do shit. That. It was just because it was just easy. Like I don't see what the problem is. And if everybody else could, but it's all I guess it's all the mentality of the teacher.
Like acting?
No, the teacher. Like if I had a teacher that wanted to teach me 450s and shooting star presses, maybe I wouldn't think selling's important. I had a teacher that told me selling's important, so I do what my teacher said. It's like
old school, man.
It's like the Karate Kid. Teacher say, student do. So
exactly.
If you got marks that are teaching kids how to, do flippy bumps on crash pads, that's all they're going to know. They're not going to know any better. If they have a teacher like mine that emphasizes the importance of selling, they're going to think selling's important. Or you could have people that think both is important. They could learn both, but those are a little more rare. So I don't know. But selling's more important than moves, because a lot of the moves that we see them from everybody. But I don't know if anybody's ever bought a t-shirt over a move. They might have bought one because they believed in somebody and wanted to support them. But I don't know how many of them bought a t-shirt after one move.
Yeah, no,
I'm sure somebody has, but
nah, I mean, maybe, probably, but I've never even seen a shirt that even has the move per se, if you know what I mean. Yeah, no, you're right. But is it because the youngsters, I hate to say this, but are they really very much, is there too many Hangman Adam Pages around these days? If you know where I'm getting at. Do they truly believe their own bullshit to the point where fuck these old guys, like basically that was then, that was passe, that shit is passe now. This is what professional wrestling is today. And they're just running with it?
Again, it's not like a simple general answer for everything. Sometimes the kids have questions and the veterans don't either have time for them. Despite what they say, they'll be like, oh, no one ever asked for advice anymore. But a lot of times that's because they ask for advice and somebody's like, get out of my face, kid, or whatever. Like, that happens. Right. It does happen. Some veterans aren't good at explaining it, or the person's not trying to hear it at the time. Right. So like if you give unsolicited advice, even if the person needs it, when they didn't ask for it,
I was just going to say that, right?
They're going to get that attitude, right? If they do go and if they do say, hey, Mr. Veteran, sir, can you answer this question about this? And then if they're in a bad mood that day and they don't know how to, the kid doesn't know how to, maybe the kid approached them in a certain way, or maybe they did it very respectfully, but maybe the other guy's having a bad day and they don't get it like that. Some guys don't know how to get people to listen. Some people don't know how to hear. Like like somebody could want to know and the person could try to explain it to them and they just won't understand it, because you could tell somebody something, but until you live through it, it's hard to really understand it. Even if you believe them, even if somebody tells you, like if I tell you, hey Jimmy, hey, this move hurts. You're like, yeah, I bet it does.
Selling. You can't teach selling really, though, per se.
I mean, you can't. You can. You can. Okay. You absolutely can. But my point is this: like, if you don't understand, you can't even accept the advice, because, like I said, if I tell you, hey Jimmy, it hurts to get powerbombed on the apron, I don't think you're gonna doubt me, but you can't feel it, so you're not gonna know how right I am.
Right.
You're just going to be like, okay. And then if somebody power bombs you on the apron, you're going to be like, fuck. I know he told me it hurt, but I didn't know it was going to hurt like that. You don't know until it happens, right? Like that's just an example. I'm just throwing that out there to paint a picture.
Example.
But
you said it right.
So if if you tell somebody like, kids, you need to sell, he's like, why would I need to sell? And then that kid wouldn't have been in the situation where selling would have gotten him, he wouldn't have worked in front of a crowd where if he sold, he would have got a bigger reaction than if he did a cool move. Like, he wouldn't know that because he hadn't done it. But the first time he does it, the light bulb will go off and he'll be like, oh, that's what he was talking about all those years ago. And I didn't get it then, but I get it now. So some people learn later, but it's different cases on individual basis. So,
because if you're not going to learn how to sell or know how to sell, then what's the point of the match? Like, really?
I honestly don't know what people think the point of the match is anymore. And that includes,
nice.
Dude, that goes all the way up to the top. Like, I'm starting to wonder, like, does Triple H know what the point of a wrestling match is now?
I know, you're right.
Does he get it? Like, do you even know what you guys are doing anymore? Why you're putting on these shows? Or are you just doing it because that's what you've always done?
But I can't believe in that because I know they can't be that stupid. They just can't be, bro.
It's not stupid. It's just, it's not stupid. It's just like you're stuck in your routines.
And you're just not thinking about it because you got no time to even think of simple shit, basically.
You forget. It's called, you can't see the forest for the trees. In other words, when people use that expression, what they're saying is you're in the middle of the forest, right? So you could see a tree here, you could see a tree here, you could see a tree here. So you think there's these trees. Right. You have no idea how big the forest is because you're in the middle of it. If you were at a bird's eye view and you could see the whole forest, you could see how many acres it covers and you get the whole picture. If you're in the forest, you don't see what's passed in front of you. You only see what's in front of you. So these guys are too busy. They got the daily grind. They got to go to the next city. They got to plan these creative meetings. They got to put on these matches. They got to do these shows. They got to pack up, go to the next town, everything like that. They don't have time to sit back and be like, now wait, why do we do this? They're too busy. So it's not being stupid necessarily. It's just people lose perspective when they're in the forest.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. The way you put that, that's actually quite good. But it's still, it's just weird, dude. But you're probably right. I mean, it's got to be that. Otherwise, because I don't see someone like Triple H not saying shit like that deep down. But you're right. He's probably got a lot on his plate. He's probably not even thinking of that, even though it seems it's pretty simple to actually think that way. But I guess when you have so much on your plate, there's no time to think about even selling, right? Or telling someone how to sell. And it's unfortunate because wrestling is bad when it's like that, dude. It just comes across as just really fake. You know what I mean? Like that.
I mean, here's an example of no selling that's relevant. So, like I just said, Hangman and Ospreay just had this 40-minute classic, right? And there was a spot where they had to do a move on the outside. So they had to sell the move on the outside, but there's a count going on. So they can only sell it for 8 seconds.
Right.
And then they got to get up to beat the count. But if you can get up to beat the count, I guess I'm not buying your move that you just did.
Exactly.
If you gave me a double count out and then they bring back that ambulance and that stretcher that they had in the earlier match to carry you guys out of there, now I might believe you might be hurt. But because you got up in 8 seconds, I don't believe you. That's the difference.
It's not realistic, bro. 8 seconds.
So you say, well, how do you deal with that? Well, just don't do that. Just don't do that spot. Don't do something that you can't sell for longer than 8 seconds. And if you need to sell it for longer than 8 seconds, do it in the ring so you don't get counted out or whatever.
100%.
But whatever, like I can't school the entire wrestling business. I'm just a podcaster.
They need it, man. The fact that if you were working for one of the major companies, man, I could only imagine what you'd be saying to these people.
I'd be saying, I'll tell you exactly what I'd be saying. If I was working for one of these major companies, this is what I'd be saying. I'd be shaking hands with them and saying, it was a pleasure working with you. I've just been fired, so I'll be seeing you. I'll keep in touch because I wouldn't last a week.
Yeah, you would absolutely.
They wouldn't hire me in the first place. I'd be fired in the interview.
For sure. 100%. 100%, man. But maybe that's another issue. Maybe they need more wrestling guys to teach the fundamentals, man, because the fundamentals are really starting to get lost in transition, literally. And it's sad, man, because there's too many of these guys not caring and probably think, everyone knows it's all bullshit. Who cares? It's just
right. That's the other thing too. Like if everybody's saying that, why change?
Good question. It's true.
I mean, nobody believes me, so why sell?
Right.
I'll just do moves instead.
Exactly. So then why fucking wrestle in the first place then in the end? But yeah, I know. It's bizarre, Vet, and stupid and dumb and disheartening in many ways too. It's weird. It's just very weird. It's a phenomenon in many ways too, Vet, when you think about it. And it shouldn't be that way in professional wrestling, man. Sally, you're supposed to be fucking, having a pretend fight, right? Or match, whatever. Pretend it's fucking, that's what it is. You know what I mean? Do you need to start throwing potatoes?
No, because people don't sell real punches like that.
That's true too.
So, whatever. Look, the important thing is that Mascara Dorada went on to qualify for the 4-way, okay? That's what we really need to worry about. Mascara Dorada is your winner. So, we're good. As long as he won, everything's right in the wrestling world, and he did. So, good luck winning that. Good luck winning the international championship, Mascara Dorada.
Mascara Dorada.
Mascara Dorada.
Are they sucking up a little bit to CMLL, do you feel, AEW? Since AAA has been acquired?
Too late.
Exactly.
A little too late, bro. You had all these guys. We've seen them multiple times.
Yep. It's true, man.
So, all right. Well.
Wow. That was it. That was the record.
Speaking of seeing us multiple times, we got to get out of here.
Let's get the out of here. Exactly. Well, Vet, I know we're, our big, encounter is not happening till the week, like next Friday, your time, I believe. Are we hyping it up? I'm hyping it up. It's you versus me next week, Vet. But till then, what are you doing tonight or today, shall I say?
Yeah, well, I'll be at Opinion Haver on all your favorite social media platforms if you need to reach out, or if you have any other, if you have any other questions about how to save the wrestling business, I'll be right there on the social media platform of your choice at Opinion Haver. Of course, you can catch me tomorrow night as we record this, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern for the Impact Attack with Brandon. We talk about TNA. And then, of course, on Wednesday, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, I joined Big Ray Hernandez for the Next Level Wrestling Review, where we talk about NXT. And every Friday, you could hear that teacher I was talking about, the person that taught me wrestling with Rip Rogers. Every Friday, ask Rip a question. Still in some undisclosed location, but they're making it work. Lots of great questions over there. And Rip would love to answer them all for you. So please check them out. Definitely check out Stevie Richards' show. Also every Friday. Another great episode this week. Talking about Unforgiven 2004, the infamous Mystery Woman storyline. Stevie went through a lot of trauma, and he relived that trauma to bring you this episode. So the least you could do is at least check this one out. So please go to YouTube, completely free, and check out this wonderful show he and James put on, a great production. It's a show, not a podcast, as they always say. And, of course, Limpin' Ain't Easy with Timmy Baltimore, the big Chelsea Green interview. And he's just got guest after guest after guest. He's on a roll. But definitely check out Chelsea Green, a current WWE superstar, being interviewed by Timmy Baltimore. And it was actually contemporary, where they talked about things that happened recently. Like, what? Yeah. So please give that a listen. Good friend Timmy. That's everything that I'm involved with, Jimmy, or even just tangentially related to. What about you?
Well, Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, it'll be myself and, of course, Big Ray Hernandez for the I Like It Raw, your Raw Wrestling review show, Tuesday mornings, 10 a.m. And, of course, the Smack Attack with myself and RBV every Saturday mornings, anywhere between. It could be 11 a.m. It could be 1 p.m., but it's around that time frame expect to see the Smack Attack and, of course, this very show, The Wreckage, with myself and the best in the world, the vet, of course, where we talk all things AEW, and we've got even more AEW to talk about next week, unfortunately for us and fortunately for everyone else. We got 4 hours of Fighter Fest, baby. And I'm assuming...
That means no Collision, though, right? Clearly, they're wiping Collision off the board.
Nah, unfortunately, they're not. Yeah, when RBV broke that news to me at the time, I'm like, you're trolling, right?
I mean, they broke the news on Collision at the very least that it was going to be 4 hours.
They did. They said it also on the pay-per-view too, to be fair.
Oh.
But I must have missed it at the time. And then I saw it again. But yeah, 4 hours, Fighter Fest. It is what it is. What can I say? I don't know why they want to do this, but they do. So yeah, look out for that, man. And if you want to follow me, you can at DJ Mass Effects. But you know what? Start following me at the PWC Network, because that's the only way I can actually interact at the moment. Until whatever happens with that account, I have no idea. But yeah, that's about it from me. So in saying that, Vet, I guess it's time to take it home. I am.
Thanks,
Jimmy
everybody.
T.
Thanks for all the super chats and everything. Thanks for the breaking news that Ron Killings was released.
Who?
Never heard of him.
I never heard it exactly. Hey, you know what? Before we do go, do you think he's done with pro wrestling now?
I don't even know if he's really released.
I know. I don't believe it either fully yet. Yeah, I've got to look into that properly. But anyway, in saying that, I am Jimmy T. He is the best in the world and my co-host, Jamie the Vet Williams. And you've been listening and watching The
Wreckage.
Right here live on Hamid Media Group's YouTube channel and, of course, channelattitude.com after the fact. Till next time, we're out. Peace.